What are you doing now as opposed to 10 or 12 years ago when you first broke into the big leagues hitting-wise?
Well, I think I've learned an awful lot about picking up the tempo of ball games, trying to execute. I feel each game is a totally different game. Each time at bat, you should take a picture of what you're doing so that you can make the necessary adjustments when the time comes. And I think I'm a bigger challenge to myself in terms of what I have to do and try and do them on those levels.
Do you think it's more important now that you go up off a pitcher that you know and look for a pitch in a certain situation as opposed to what you did earlier in your career?
Yes, and then too, I like to key off the catcher an awful lot. I like to feel that catchers can sort of set the tempo of the game that they're going to be calling. Today I'll probably be hitting off of Boone as opposed to McCarver here in Philadelphia. So Ricky knows we only seen once, and we know basically what he throws, but how he's going to throw them will be basically how Boone feels that he should be throwing in different situations.
Is it more difficult right now to hit off a pitcher that you really don't know, to try and anticipate what they might be throwing, as opposed to a pitcher that you've known over the last couple of years?
If I had a preference, I'd much rather hit off a guy that I've had some time to deal with over the period of years. But it's also exciting to accept new challenges, because in order to do things, you have to continue doing them. And there's always new things entering into the picture, and you like to feel that no matter what the situation is, you can execute.
Well, let's slide right over to Bruce and ask him, you've been around now some 7 or 8 years in the major leagues, and how do you really feel about pitching to a hitter, say, of Willie Stargell's class?
Forget it. I'm glad he's on my side. Willie's in a class all by himself, but as Willie's mentioning out, you have a track record against maybe a certain hitter, a certain pitcher. Pitchers know what the track record is against maybe a certain hitter, how you pitch a certain guy, and there's, as Willie mentioned, a hitter adjusts to the pitcher, and there's that continuous, never-endless battle going one-on-one, those continuous adjustments that you have to make as a pitcher, trying to outguess the hitter, and he's trying to outguess you. So there's a lot of guessing, partaking as far as the cat and mouse game between a hitter and a pitcher.
How has your pitching changed now as opposed to when you first came up in 1971?
Well, you were with the club then, and you probably maybe seen the difference. I think I have an idea now. When I first came up, I was a thrower. I wouldn't necessarily classify or define myself as a pitcher per se by adjustments being made, and there's always the adjustments being made. Last night I had trouble with my fastball early, and in the bullpen I had a great location, and just one of those days where everything was clicking. I got on the mound, and there was a problem with the mound. I couldn't stride properly, so I was getting my slider over very consistently, so that's the pitch I went with primarily last night.
And that's been a new pitch for you this year, that hard slider as opposed to the slurve that you threw in the past. What's been the difference for you?
Exactly. Well, last year Larry Sher worked with me quite a bit. I had a lot of finger problems in the middle finger, and the slider is actually a pitch that's taken a lot of stress off my finger. Instead of throwing that hard slurve, using a lot of pressure on the ball with my middle finger, it's taken the pressure off, and it's become a pitch that I've been able to be consistently to get over to left-handers. And it's a pitch that they've never seen before, a ball running in. Usually my ball will run away from a left-handed hitter, and they're looking away, so when I pop them with the ball inside now, it's something different. It's a new pitch, and anytime you can come up with a new pitch, it is a big plus.
Well, Willie, I have to really admire those long tape measure shots that you hit. I know it only counts if it goes over the fence, but when you hit those prodigious home runs, it just puts a pitcher in awe as you watch the ball go into the upper deck. Has there been anything that you've done in your career to develop that type of a power swing and tremendous bat head speed to project the ball that far?
Well, Nellie, if I had to relate on any one particular thing, it would have to be the hard physical work that I used to do when I was very young. I did man's work at a young age, and I'm talking about lifting heavy objects. I used to work in a meat packing house in California, unloading cow halves for 11 and a half hours a day, 6 days a week, and I did that all summer. I worked at canneries. I've done all kinds of physical hard work, and I think because of that, I developed a lot of muscles that you would normally use for your arm and back to provide this type of thing. And of course, I continue to work at it, and you have to And if I can continue doing the job that I'd like to do to be as productive as I probably can, I don't want to be one of the best. I just like to be more consistent.
Can you very quickly, Willie, show us the grip that you have on the bat? You hold your little finger clear off the end of the bat. Is there a reason, and can you show us very quickly what that grip is?
Well, what I have to do, Nellie, now, because it's something that I didn't intentionally do, I overlapped this little finger. And what happened one year in spring training, I was hitting so much that I got a tremendous blister here from holding the bat against the palm of my hand in this area. And in order for me to make the ball club, I had to continue playing, so I had so much pressure here that when I put the bat over there, it took pressure off of there, and then I started hitting the ball, and it's just been a habit ever since. Otherwise, it's nothing technically to an advantage of doing it.
Well, it's been fantastic. Keep up the good work. Let's see a couple of home runs today, hopefully. Bruce, you keep up the good work for us. We're going to throw it up to Milo for today's starting lineups.
All right, Nelson Briles, thank you, and to your guests, Bruce Keeson and Captain Willie, and we're ready for another big day of Pirate baseball here. The starting pitchers, Dickie Knowles, a young right-hander who has the good stuff, is warming up down the right field line. Our left-hander Rooker's warming up in the bullpen. The crowd is being asked to stand here, and we will hear the singing and playing of our national anthem with Debbie Boone. Debbie Boone with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Debbie Boone with our national anthem from the vet in Philadelphia. This is Milo Hamilton along with Nelson Briles, and we're ready for the Bucks and the Phillies in Game 3. They split the doubleheader last night, and during today's game we'll have 3 Giant Eagle home run sweepstakes innings. The jackpot is now up to $1,100, so I know you want to stay with us for all the home run sweepstakes excitement. As we mentioned, we're looking at a rookie, Dickie Knowles. And we are trotting out the veteran Jim Rooker. And as we start today's action after the split last night, we're leading Montreal by a game and a half. The Cubs ran into a buzzsaw in the form of a redbird in St. Louis. They are now 4.5 games back. The Cardinals are right up in there now, 5 out. And the Phillies, as they start today, are 6 out, and they are in 5th place. So we still definitely have the 5-team race, but some teams moving around in there. The conference starting at home plate. Bobby Wine is there along with Dave Parker. And the Philly Fanatic is there along with the crew in blue. And after we finish this game today, we play again tomorrow night when it'll be Bibby. And then on Monday night, to wrap it up on this series and road trip, we'll be having John Candelaria going. You know, we'll be home Tuesday night to face the Western teams of the Western Division for the last time at Three Rivers. That'll start with a Buck Night attraction on Tuesday night. I just want to remind you before we get too involved here that during today's game, because of the problem with Lanny's throat, we just got to give him a day off here today. I will be doing a simulcast. In other words, I'll be doing it on the radio and the TV. I'm sure that's a phrase common now with people as long as it's been thrown around over the years. But there may be some times today when it won't seem as smooth because I'll have to be delaying from time to time when Lanny will be doing some things on radio for a few seconds that cannot be heard on television. And I'm sure with sponsor conflicts you understand that. So that's the way it'll be. I'll be trying to do enough play-by-play so that the radio audience will know what's going on, but still I'll be modifying it a bit because of the picture that's there. So we'll try to do a happy medium. I hope that'll be enough to let everybody know. And if you're watching the game or listening on radio and not thinking you're getting enough or you're getting too much, please bear with us. It's a necessity. It's an emergency here today. We have to do it. Phillies are getting ready to take the field. And let's take a look at the starting lineups. First of all, for the visiting Bucks, Moreno in center. Foley is the shortstop. Parker in right. He'll be batting third. Stargell's the cleanup hitter playing first base. John Milner's in left field batting fifth. Bill Madlock will play third and bat sixth. Ott will do the catching and bat seventh. Garner will play second and bat eighth. And Jim Rooker will be on the mound. Now you have the lineup for the visiting Bucks. Let's take a look at the Philly defense that'll be out there when our players come to bat. At first base, number 14, Pete Rose. Manny Trio, number 9 at second. Larry Boa, number 10, is the shortstop. Mike Schmidt, number 20, is at third base. Go to their outfield, you'll find Gary Maddox, 31, in center, flanked by Greg Luzinski, 19, in left. Mike Anderson, 22, is in right. Bob Boone, number 8, is the catcher. Our coaches, number 42, Al Monchek at first, number 32, Joe Lynette at third base. You have their defense, but this is also the way they'll be batting. Pete Rose will lead it off. He'll be playing first. Manny Trio's at second, batting second. Mike Schmidt is at third. A little surprised that he's back in there today. He'll be batting third. Greg Luzinski is the cleanup batter playing left field. Bob Boone is still troubled with that hand, but he's going to try it again today. He's catching and hitting fifth. Gary Maddox will be in center. He will be batting in the sixth spot. Mike Anderson, the right fielder, will bat seventh. Larry Boa is their shortstop. He bats eighth. And the pitcher is Dickie Knowles. Nelson Briles, tell us something about this young right-hander.
Well, he's not really an overpowering pitcher, but in talking with Tim McCarver, who has caught him in recent games, he said he has one of the best moving fastballs on the staff. Doesn't really throw hard, but he has a sneaky fastball, relies on a slider and a curveball. Once in a while throws a change. Shows bright promise. He's not afraid to take the ball and go on the mound, so they're looking for big things from Dickie Knowles, not only today but in the future.
We beat him last week at home. He comes in with a record of 3-3. It's only his 9th appearance, all in starting assignments. His ERA is 4.04. On the other side of the ledger, Jim Rooker's a veteran. He knows that he needs to make a contribution here today, not only for himself but for the ball club. He struggled getting that 100th victory. Last time he won was on the 30th of May at home against the Cubs. At that time he had pitched 2 brilliant games against the Cubs for his 2 victories this year. And Jim comes in today with a record of 2-6. So we're set to go with Omar Moreno. Omar in last night's doubleheader was 1 for 10. Moreno hitting .289. This is the first time that he's been under .290 in my memory for the whole year. He has 6 homers and 49 RBIs, 51 stolen bases. The first pitch of the game is a shot through the right side, and the antelope is on. Sharply hit through the right side. Boy, that had the solid ring to it.
Sure did. They aren't waiting at all. The first pitch is in there. Omar swinging away. Guys are very up for this game. They want to win this game today so that we have a chance to have 3 out of 5 with 1 more win.
I know that one of the things we tried to do with Knowles when we faced him at home, and we're going to do again today, is you watch Omar taking off the hitting gloves and putting on the sliding gloves. Yeah, that's part of it in today's game. Knowles likes to work quickly. Our hitters are under instruction not to let him do it. They want to step out. They're going to continually be making him wait. It worked last week at home. We're going to try it again today. Throw over. He got back. If you were that type of a pitcher, would the stepping out be enough to bother you?
Well, I think if I were a young pitcher, it might have a tendency to do so, because you're trying to get your feet on the ground here in the major leagues, and to do that you want to feel comfortable on the mound and have your own speed of delivery be comfortable for you. But right now that hasn't been so for Dickie Knowles, and if that's worked in the past, I'm sure we're going to do that today.
All right, let's see how close that last one was with the move over. Boy, it was close. He had to dive back the belly flopper, and that's where a base stealer really takes a beating. And the ball to Tim Foley. Foley last night played in the first game, went 0 for 5, played defensively in the late innings of the second game. Tim comes in today with a .284 batting average, no homers and 44 ribbies. Moreno's edging, and he got back. I got a feeling he was going that time.
Omar's being very aggressive on the front. They called a balk, Milo.
That's right, the plate umpire did. So much activity with the close play at first. Now let's see if we can pick it up as we watch it.
Yes, sir. He spun on that back leg, which you're not allowed to do for a right-handed pitcher in the National League. Give it that quick spin on the back leg. You have to first step with that front leg toward first base.
And that's what the plate umpire told him. And we're going to get another look. Maybe we can see it even clearer. Now watch that leg.
See, the back leg moved first.
And he just a little spin jab, didn't he? All right, runner at second, nobody out. Bunts it, third base side. The only play, Schmidt goes to Rose. So, Tim Foley. You have to be an unselfish ball player to bat second.
Well, you do. Number one, you're batting behind Omar Moreno. You're going to be taking pitches, affording Omar the chance to steal. If he does steal, then you're going to be trying to hit behind him to advance him to third base. You have to be that unselfish player.
Dave Parker, the right fielder, will be stepping in. The Cobra was 3 for 8 last night, including a homer with a man on in the first game that tied it. We eventually lost that game. That's why the second game victory was such a big one for us. Parker hitting .326 against the Phillies. And he'll come in today against the league batting .301. 19 homers, 74 runs batted in, leads us in RBIs. His batting average now is the leading one on the club. Oh, he got challenged upstairs. He went after it, but didn't get it. No balls and 1 strike. Stargell will be next. Moreno is at third, 1 down. A fly ball with any depth can get us on the board first. Little inside, bouncing away from Boone, but not far enough for anybody to move. So the leadoff single, the balk, and the sacrifice, putting Moreno at third. We have one away. Our ball game is just underway in the third game of a 5-game series, splitting the doubleheader last night. I'll tell you, when you've played these Phillies 2 weekends in a row and you're 6-1 so far, you got to feel pretty good about it.
Well, you certainly do. And today our base runners can be a little extra alert with Boone behind the plate, because he can't squeeze that glove as well with that bruised hand. Balls might be getting away, and he might be dropping a lot of balls today. We got to be a little extra alert.
Ball comes inside, makes it 2-1. Look to third, and that makes it ball 3 and strike 1.
It's rather obvious they're going to pitch around Davy Parker in this situation. They're not giving him anything close.
Let's see what he does with a 3-1 here. Parker being the aggressive hitter. And he fouls it up to the left side. It's almost like thou shalt not pass with him, isn't it?
That's right. Anything close, he's going to be hacking. And to show you the difference, last night he was swinging at a lot of bad pitches off Steve Carlton, but Steve got one pitch up just a little bit, not very far over the middle of the plate, and he hit it out of the ballpark.
He didn't get it up very much, but Parker really got it up. Boy, he jacked it out of here. All right, we're due a payoff pitch as Dickie Knowles, the rookie right-hander of the Phillies, works to the Cobra, the defending batting champion, defending MVP. Fouled off again, so he'll get another shot. Moreno's at third with 1 away. We'll be on Pirate TV for you again tomorrow night at 7 o'clock for the 4th game in this series. It'll be radio only on Monday. We come home to face the Padres on a Buck night on Tuesday. Then after the Padres, the Dodgers and the Giants. Up high, and he ended up walking in. So now Captain Willie has the opportunity to do some damage. First pass of the game goes to the Cobra. Runners on the corners with one out. And first baseman Willie Stargell will be stepping in. 0 for 4 last night's action. Well, I tell you, when he went up to pinch hit in the first game, he came off the ball just a little bit, but what a rip he had. He just missed driving one out of here himself. Here's the pitch to Stargell, and he shot to second. That's a double play ball. Flip to Boa, fire to first. And they get the double play. We have the runner at third and do not score. 4-6-3. Trio to Boa to Rose. And the first inning opportunity is by the board for the visiting Bucks. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, a walk, double play, 1 left. We played a half an inning. Pirates are getting ready to take the field, and the homestanding Phillies are just now coming into bat. Up of Rose, Trio, and Schmidt in the top third. Lozinski, Boone, and Maddox in the middle. Anderson, Boa, and Knowles at the bottom. And as the veteran left-hander Jim Rooker tunes it up on the mound, we're going to be taking a look at the defense behind him here. And here it is. Willie Stargell, number 8 at first. Number 3 is Phil Garner at second. Tim Foley, number 10 at shortstop. Bill Madlock, who made 2 of the best plays he's made as a Pirate last night for Bruce Keeson. Mad Dogs at third, number 5. Our outfield has number 18, Omar Moreno, in center. Dave Parker, 39, in right, and John Milner, 34, in left. Our catcher is Ed Ott, number 14. We talked with Jim Rooker and asked him how the short rest will affect him, especially pitching against the Phillies.
On 3 days, I've done it before. I haven't really given it that much thought, but as long as my arm feels strong enough, I don't think tax it that much the other day in Chicago. I didn't pitch that many innings, 3 or 4, but the biggest problem, I think, is the tenderness or whatever in my elbow. I think that's what I'm mainly concerned about. As long as I can be loose and not have any complications today, I'll be out there. You know, I signed on to pitch. Nobody said it was going to be easy, so whenever they give me the ball, I go out there.
All right, Pete Rose is going to be facing that fellow right there, Jim Rooker, and you just heard him talking about his approach to today's game. Rose hitting .314. He's been on a tear since the All-Star break, and he's 3 for 10 in this series. Rooker's first pitch, ball 1. Rose, the switch hitter, of course, probably will turn out to be the greatest switch hitter of all time. There have been some others like Mantle who hit for more power. Well, there are others like the great Fordham Flash Frankie Frisch. But Rose has gone by Frisch in all the other categories, so what is there left?
Never forget, Pete Rose said, I will be the first singles hitter to drive a Cadillac.
There's a shot right at Scraps. Should be routine, and it is. Garner on to Stargell. Ball hit sharply, but right at the Bucco second baseman. Nelson Briles, you've probably gone through some of the things that Jim Rooker's going through now. A frustrating thing of having pitched well enough to have won some games in the last 2 months, but haven't. You're trying to hit a milestone. 100 big league victories has got to be something you're shooting for. He hasn't gotten it. He talked about, as long as his arm was sound a moment ago, that he didn't worry about the other things. There's a ball to Manny Trio, but when you don't win for a while, isn't there some subconscious there?
Well, it is, and what you try to do is console yourself somewhat by saying, well, at least for the most part, I've kept the ball club in the game. I haven't really won myself, but the ball club has won a lot of his starts. He said, though good things haven't happened to me personally, the ball club is at least on an even keel when I've been in that ball game.
All right, 1 ball and 1 strike as Trio fouled it off. Trio 2 for 8 last night, hitting .259. Out behind the bag, Foley on to Stargell. Timmy ended up letting that ball play him just a little bit, but I don't think he had any other choice.
Well, he got caught on an in-between type hop, plus the ball looked like it might hit the seam on the turf, so he laid back just a little bit, knew that he had the good arm to back up his lack of charging the ball, made a good play.
All right, here is Mike Schmidt. You're a little surprised he's playing today, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Frankly, when I talked with Mike Schmidt yesterday, he said that he was just 1 step away from the disabled list. Well, evidently, it's more than 1 step.
Well, he's hitting .274, 39 homers, 88 ribbies. Pretty good fastball right there. Up high, ball 1. Schmidt was 0 for 2 last night, twice as a pinch hitter. And he's batting with nobody on and 2 away. We're in the first inning. Just missed at the knees. 2 balls, no strikes. Luzinski would be next. This is our 12th game of the year with Philadelphia. We're 6-5 with them. We're 1-3 here at the Vet. Hey, that's in there, and that'll make it 2 balls and a strike.
With Mike Schmidt in the lineup, this has to demonstrate the importance that the Phillies are placing on this weekend series.
Absolutely. That really underscores him being in there. Good location there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Mike Schmidt can play with some pain. He has done it. So it's not that he's not making the effort, because I'm sure even though he's in there, he was given the choice of not being in there. Now he's gone full. Even with a not 100%, this is a dangerous count on this guy.
It doesn't seem to bother him when he swings, only when he runs, and that's his fear. He said if there's a ball that's hit in the gap, he said I might try that one extra hard step, and that's when I can pull that muscle badly and be out for 2 or 3 weeks.
All right, a payoff pitch is due. Rose bounced out, so did Trio. Nobody on the bases for Schmidt. And Rooker working with the full count. Oh, boy, that was close. Ends up walking Schmidt and brings up Luzinski. That's like stepping out of the frying pan into the fire. And we're going to take a look at the last pitch.
Well, Joe didn't want to give in. Jim didn't want to give in to him. Threw him a breaking ball, 3-2, and just missed on the outside corner.
Looked like maybe just a little low, huh?
Just a little bit, maybe off the plate, just a little. Mike Schmidt's got a pretty good eye.
All right, here is Luzinski batting .254, 15 homers, 62 ribbies, was 1 for 5 last night. Crowds him, and it's too close. 1 ball and no strikes. The on-deck hitter is their catcher, Bob Boone. They've got a man on via the base on ball. Schmidt, 2 down, first inning. Bucks had a threat with a man at third, but a double play took him out of it. Fly ball right center. That ball's going to drop. Parker will have to leap to keep it from jumping over him and throwing off balance as he came down through to Foley at second. And while that ball was taking the big bounce, Schmidt comes over to third. Luzinski's at first with a pop fly single into right center field. And let's see how much trouble it really gave Dave when it bounced.
Well, this is a breaking ball that got in on Luzinski a little bit, but just with that brute strength that he has, he fisted it out over the infield. The ball takes a very high hop off this turf. Davy Parker, with his great height, knocks the ball down, makes a good play, keeps it in front of him. We have runners at first and third with 2 out.
Now Rooker, who got the first 2, suddenly finds himself in a trouble spot. Be looking at the catcher, Bob Boone. Boy, a sore hand is not the thing for a catcher to have. And he's got one that's killing him. Fastball for an opener, high. Boone has hit 25 his last 34 games. He's hitting over 300. He's at 303, 9 homers, 53 runs batted in. He was 0 for 4 in last night's action. That's a strike. Looks like maybe Jim here today, who's had some first inning troubles, not only this year but other years, is throwing more with velocity than trying to be cute or nibble. And there was another one.
Boy, I tell you, he's just missing with that fastball on the outside part of the plate. Then he is popping the ball pretty well. We need to get Jim out of these first few innings. Notoriously, he's been a slow starter. Once he gets past the 3rd or 4th inning, he coasts pretty well. So come on, Jim, make a good pitch.
2-1. Inside at the knees, 3-1, and Maddox will be next. Possible that in the bullpen when he was warming up with Haddix, he said, hey, I've got a good flamethrower. Maybe I'll go with it.
Well, this is what you try and analyze when you're warming up in the bullpen. You see what's working for you right now, what feels good, and that's what you start the game with. Then you adjust.
Fly ball left center. Not going to carry. Omar takes charge. He'll be right there. And that'll do it for Boone and the Phillies in the bottom of the first. They do not score. They have a hit and a walk, no errors. They leave a pair. We played an inning. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, as you listen to the Bucks and the Phillies, Milo Hamilton, Lanny Fratteri, and Nelson Riles, hoping you're ready to enjoy it. After the first inning, a couple of zeros. Bucks nothing, Phils nothing. On Wednesday, August 22nd, our Bucks will take on the San Francisco Giants in a working man special game at Three Rivers. It'll start at 12:35. Now, for all you baseball purists who love baseball right there in the sunshine, for all you executives who want to break up the week and have an office party at the ballpark, And for all fans who work nights, well, this game's really for you, isn't it? The Bucks versus the Giants, Wednesday, August 22nd at 12:35. I know you won't want to miss it. As we go to the second, Dickie Knowles will be getting it after they throw down and a peg around, and John Milner headed toward the plate. He was only up once last night, and he walked because they started a couple of lefties, Carlton and Lurch. We really didn't have that much time to talk about Carlton again after he left last night, Nellie, but last two times we've seen him, he is not the Carlton you expect on a steady basis, is he?
Well, now in talking with Steve, he feels his best pitch is his slider. He's lost a little bit off that fastball and doesn't have near the pop that he once did. So when he needs to get someone out, he likes to throw that slider right in on that hitter's fist.
And there is Steve right there. Oh, some great years he's had. One year he was the franchise here. He won about half their games. That's a popper, but it misses, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. John Milner hitting .291. Popped out into shallow center. Boa out. Maddox on. Who's going to give way? Boa went out, and as he was going away, it almost looked like he turned a little bit the wrong way and brought his glove over in an awkward position, and when it hit it, there was no pocket for it to stay in.
Boy, and I have to believe that Boa could hear some footsteps, because this is a very dangerous situation. They're both looking for one another. Boa's going back, keeping his eyes on the ball, but got a glove on it, just couldn't handle it. Maddox was there to pick it up. Base hit for John Milner.
Yeah, that was a very tough chance. That would have been, if they score that an error, it penalizes 2 people. It penalizes Milner, it penalizes Boa. Hit is the fair call. Bouncer third off Madlock's bat. Another double play around the horn. She goes. Schmidt to trio to Rose. So that's the second double play in 2 innings. So Madlock bounces into the double play in a hurry. Pitcher's best friend.
Well, that's what you like, to take you out of that inning if you can. Make that good pitch. That's the key to it most of the time, is to make that good pitch down and over the plate so that the hitter hits the ball into the ground.
Ed Ott will be stepping in. Did not play last night. Rookie catcher Steve Nicosia caught the doubleheader. As we talked about it on the game, he wouldn't have any trouble sleeping. I kidded him in the clubhouse after the game. He says, yeah, I won't have any trouble if I can get to my bed. All right, this is the Otter hitting .252. The breaking ball stays outside, ball 1.
And Ed Ott was the opposite. He said, shoot, all I did last night was visit for 2 games. He said, shoot, I couldn't go to sleep because I didn't have that much physical activity.
Ball 2 and no strikes. With his .252 average, Ott has 5 homers and 30 ribbies. Caught the corner enough for the strike. Tomorrow night when we hit TV at 7, it'll be Bibby versus Christensen. An unusual Sunday night game here. Threw that one away, but no harm as far as Boone is concerned, because nobody's on and 2 are away. We're in the second and no score. 2 hits for the Bucks, Moreno and Milner. They have a hit. It belongs to Lazinski. That's the way it's gone here in the very early going. There is a base hit through the left side off the bat of Ed Ott. Gets it between third baseman Schmidt and shortstop Boa. Hit number 3 off the rookie right-hander and brings up old scraps. Phil Garner, second baseman, batting 8th. 3 hits last night. 9 at-bats. 1 was a homer. Drove in a run. And against the league, Phil is batting .299. 9 homers, 35 ribbies. That's a strike. One of the things about this club you have to like, everybody knew that it wasn't going to be easy after that All-Star break, and we've had some guys that have really gone to work. Not that they weren't before, but they've checked that belt buckle, and if there wasn't another notch there, they put one there.
Phil Garner has been one of those players, and even though he's been doing a good job, he says, lately I don't feel that comfortable at the bat. I'm still jumping at the ball a little bit. Never satisfied. Wants to always be better.
Yeah, that's why he's the player he is, too. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ott's at first, 2 down. Top of the second inning. Right-hander Knowles, left-hander Rooker in today's game. As Ott leads at first. Out over the mound, but the shortstop Boa will grab, go to the bag, force out. It's 6 unassisted, side retired. No runs and a couple of hits, no errors, double play, and a man left. We played an inning and a half. It's still the Bucks nothing, the Phils nothing. Chuck Tanner looking on. And the Candyman, who will be pitching Monday night, right there behind him. Steve Nicosia just went by, and there's the batting instructor, who's done really a great job. And all you got to do is just kind of mention around a little bit. These hitters will tell you Skinner has been a real help to them. He doesn't force his way on. He's a good listener. But you can look at some guys who have been helped this year, and you know that he's had an influence.
Well, he does, and his nice, easygoing manner makes him very approachable. He's very, very patient with these hitters and knows what it takes to have them accomplish what the hitters are after in their own style. Not the way Bob Skinner used to hit, but the way an Omar Moreno wants to hit, and a Phil Garner, and so on.
That goes right in with the comfort at the plate, too. All right, this is Maddox, the center fielder. 1 for 8 last night. He's batting .283 against the league, has 11 homers, 49 RBIs. Rooker working to him. And a line drive down toward the left field corner. It'll go for 2 the way he can scamper. Milner plays it as it bounces off the wall, throws it into Foley out behind third. Maddox has led off with a double in the Philadelphia second. That is their second hit. This is our 12th game, and for Maddox, that's his 19th hit against us.
I think we're going to have to change the book on Gary Maddox.
I'm not sure we have one. When a guy's hitting like that, though, it's just almost like the book doesn't work when the guy's hitting the way he's hitting against us. And there are batters like that. There are pitchers who have the same kind of luck against certain clubs. This is Anderson, the right fielder. Did not bat last night. He's only faced us twice this year, and he's 0 for 2. Limited plays, hitting .218, 1 homer, 2 ribbies. He bunts it out toward the third base side, and it'll bounce back over the line foul. Rooker was really coming off that mound in a hurry, because if he had a chance to get Maddox at third and had a play, he wanted to be able to do it, and he didn't want to be loafing coming off there. He wanted to be Johnny on the spot.
Well, the third base line is Jim Rooker's responsibility with a man on second and the bunt in order. He has to get over there, protect the line, and make the play at third base if he has a shot. If he doesn't, then he turns and throws the ball to first base.
All right, Anderson, the right-hand batting outfielder. Since we're starting a lefty, he's playing out in right today instead of Big McBride. Old teammate of Nellie Bryles.
Last year at Baltimore.
Fly ball down the right side. Parker over near the line. He hit his glove. It was in fair territory, so the ball is in play. Throw comes into Garner. Now Maddox, of course, with Parker coming over near the line, I'm sure from Maddox's viewpoint, he thought that ball was going to be caught. Parker got to it, but really never got good leather around it. And so that puts runners at second and third with nobody out.
Mike Anderson going the other way with a breaking ball. The ball is going to be right down the line. Parker comes a long way for the ball, gets to it, and the ball hits right in the pocket, drops out, comes right back to Dave Parker. But it was too late as Mike Anderson pulls in with a double. Runners on second and third, and nobody out.
Now Larry Boa, 1 for 5 last night, and he drove in a run. He's batting .249, no homers and 19 ribbies. We're going to bring the infield up on the right side. They score that as a double. So the hit column is even at 3, but Rooker is in a full-blown jam-up. Fouled back, out of play, strike 1. Danny Ozark likes to squeeze. They split last night. They know they've got to make something happen. I've got a feeling Madlock has definitely been alerted to the squeeze possibility.
It is. I wouldn't think so much it would be in order right here with a pitcher coming up behind Boa this early in the ball game. But they do that to set up that same situation later in the ball game, so it doesn't look any different in this situation.
All right, no balls, 1 strike. Fly ball left. It's going to be deep enough to get Maddox home. Milner going to have to backpedal to the track. Maddox will score, and coming to third is Anderson. So Boa, in that situation, the way he hit that ball, and it'll no way of knowing unless you ask him, but it's almost as if he went up there determined to get a fly ball, because he's not that kind of a hitter. He's not going to hit the ball in that fashion. He's a line drive hitter. He was up there trying to get Maddox in.
Well, and he knows that he's stronger right-handed. He can drive the ball a little further from the right side as opposed to the left side where he's more of a slap hitter. He got a ball up that he liked and was able to hit the sacrifice fly.
And it's still in order because Anderson is at third with only one away. Boa picked up his 20th RBI of the year. 1 ball and no strikes to pitcher Dickie Knowles. Throws right and he bats right. Knowles has had 2 hits, both singles, no RBIs. This is only his 17th time at bat. Fouled out of play, and he's trying to get a fly ball for himself too.
These pitchers on the Philadelphia staff take a lot of pride in their hitting. Even when it comes out to their batting practice, they're playing those games, sacrifice fly situation, try and hit it out there, but swing with authority. Have an idea what you're doing at the plate.
In other words, make those drills mean something. Don't just go out there and take some swings and have it be a part of the day's work. 1 ball and 1 strike. Anderson at third with 1 out and a run is in. The Phillies have scratched first. Right on the kneecap, 1 and 2. Don Robinson's throwing in our bullpen. That is a test. Do not change your dial. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hits are even at 3. Phillies lead 1-0. Bottom of the 2nd inning. Game 3 in a 5-game set. Yeah, good spot there. Last 2 were called strikes in the inside corner. Knowles had a difference of opinion, but he'll get a think about it on the way to the dugout. First strikeout for Jim Rooker in this game. Go to the top of the order with Pete Rose. Rose bounced to second base in the 1st inning. Rose 3 for 11 in the series as he stands in. As it showed bunt but never really offered at it. The pitch was up and away, so it's 1 ball and no strikes. Looks to me this year, I know as a left-hand hitter he's always really bent over, but I think he's bending over more as a right-hand hitter this year. You faced him enough, you'd know more. There's a line drive in the left center. The ball's going to take off and roll. Anderson walks in with run number 2. Rose is around second. He is on the way to third. He'll be in standing as the throw comes into the infield. And it's a triple for Rose. Got it in the gap in left center. And Chuck Tanner a little concerned here because it is now a 2-0 game.
A pitch to Pete's liking out over the plate, drills it right up the alley in left center. Mike Schmidt dents the plate with her 2nd run all the way to the wall. Moreno picks up the ball, and this is one thing about Pete Rose. He's an excellent base runner, knew that he had third base made, never hesitated for 1 minute.
Yeah, as he moved into second base, then he really put it in high and zipped right on around. So Rose coming up with his 47th RBI, his 4th triple. Bouncer to short by Trio. Foley on to Stargell. Side has been retired, but Rooker had some problem. Because the Phillies get on the board with a pair. 3 hits, RBIs by Boa and Rose. Runs scored by Maddox and Anderson. No errors, 1 man left. After 2 innings, the Phillies have taken the lead. Philadelphia 2, Pittsburgh nothing.
Under our contractual arrangements with the Pirates for this telecast, the announcers for this game have been selected by station KDKA-TV, subject to the approval of the Pittsburgh Pirates Baseball Club.
Well, this is it for Jake Jacko of McKees Rocks, because we're going to play Giant Eagle Home Run Sweepstakes. And Jake Jacko, if Bucko hits one for you in the top of the 3rd, you're going to win $1,100 worth of Giant Eagle groceries. As Jim Rooker steps in to lead it off in the 3rd inning. Backs Rook away a little bit. That was tight on the shoulder, and it's ball 1. Moreno will be next, then Foley. They've out-hit us 4-3. The lead in the game 2-0. There's a looping fly ball to right, but Anderson had him played perfectly. Shallowed up and a little toward the line, and Rooker is out in the 1st inning. Omar Moreno will be batting now. And Jake Jacko is the interested party at home. Moreno had a base hit in the first inning, went to second on a balk, got to third on the Foley sack. Looked like we were in business. Parker walked, but then Stargell hit a double play ball and they turned it. Phillies have had a double play in each of the first 2 innings. Montreal at New York, second inning, 1-1 Expos and Mets. Nobody on here for Omar. 1 down. No balls and 1 strike. Tried to hit that outside corner again, but stayed outside for him that time, and the count is even at a ball and a strike. Pirates and the Phillies at the vet. Bouncer right at Rose, backhands, comes back to the bag, and it's 2 away. Rose doesn't do it with all the smoothness in the world, but he sure battles that spot, doesn't he?
Finesse is not his middle name.
All right, Jake Jacko. Foley's your man. Showed bunt, took it for a strike. Foley sacrificed in the first inning. He's batting now with nobody on and 2 away. A ball and a strike. Joel Youngblood had a home run for the New York Mets. Going to have his best year in the big leagues ever. With a chance to play, showing that he can handle it. Started that breaking ball way inside, and it stayed up and in. That moves the count to 2-1 to Tim Foley as the Pirate shortstop bats here. Parker's on deck. 2-1. Outside for 3-1. Foley stepping out, looking down to Joe Lynette, his third base coach. Our hits have come from Moreno, Milner, and Ott, but we haven't been able to put anybody on that pay station yet. Out into left center. That ball's not going to be playable. It's going to bounce and go right up against the fence on 1 bounce. Foley is into second with a stand-up double. That is his first hit in the series. And Parker with a chance here to get us on the board. For the folks who are watching on television here, we are playing one of our several Giant Eagle home run sweepstakes innings, and Parker will be batting for Jake Jacko of McKees Rocks. Parker in the first inning had a base on balls. At second base, Tim Foley, 2 away. Going to have 2 clutch hits in a row in order to scratch the surface. Trailing 2-0. This is an opportunity you'd like to take advantage of. Tell you one thing, you hinted at it when you talked about this young man at the beginning, Nelson Briles. He is out there with a purpose. He'll challenge the big hitter.
He is right now, and he is throwing the ball very well. That sneaky fastball is that today. Very sneaky.
0-1 pitch. Breaking pitch inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Parker batting with Foley at second. Stargell would be next. We're in the third inning. Oh, that didn't miss by much either. Some of the folks behind the screen trying to help the plate umpire make a different call. And Boone's going to go out and talk to him. So there's where the veteran catcher evidently saw something there that he really wasn't pleased with. It might have been that the youngster showed a reaction when he didn't get the strike call, and Boone went out and said, hey, 1 pitch is not going to make this game. You come right back in there with the way we want to pitch.
Well, and he's also reminding him that he's got a guy up here with 1 swing that can tie the game. Be sure of your location where you want to throw whichever pitch I call.
The 1-2 pitch to the Cobra. Fouled off to the left into the seats. It'll hold at 1-2. Happy fan with a souvenir. Oh, there are some fans in here again today. I'd say 45 at 63,500 last night. Maybe some of them didn't go home. Maybe they just went out and got in line again. A shot to short. Boa on the road. Side retired. Well, no home run was hit during this Giant Eagle sweepstakes inning, but no one ever loses here. Our contestant, Jake Jacko of McKees Rocks, will receive a certificate of 10 Tasty Cake family packs and an assortment of Daily Juice products available at your grocer. Our next Giant Eagle sweepstakes will be worth $1,200. In the inning for the Bucks, no runs and 1 hit, no errors, and a man left. We played to the middle of the third. Phillies 2, Bucks nothing. Big Jim Bibby, who will be pitching tomorrow. Taking a look at the Phillies here today, kind of going to school a little bit.
Is taking a look just to check out, make sure that no one has changed at the plate, hitting-wise, stance-wise, to see if the hitters are sitting on one particular pitch off of our catcher. It was very interesting to note in our interview with Willie Stargell. He said, you know, sometimes I hit off the catcher and what a catcher might call instead of studying the pitcher.
All right, now as Mike Schmidt steps in, he was given the base on balls in the first, and he is up here to lead off the third against Jim Rooker. Phillies got a pair in the second. They're leading the Bucks 2-0. Schmidt will be followed by Lozinski and Boone. Evidently something's bothering Schmidt. Maybe a sign or something.
The water fountain, the water display they have in center field. They were still shooting the works out there.
Okay, well, that's all stopped, and Rooker's ready, so Schmidt. And he had a pretty good cut, folks. Fortunately, didn't get it. Kingman has gone ahead of Schmidt in RBIs 91-88. King Kong had a night for himself last night, but it didn't help the Cubs. They lost the doubleheader at St. Louis. Fastball up high, and it's 1-1. We are in the third inning of this game, and it's just possible that somebody didn't get in for the top when we were down on the field. We are broadcasting this on television and radio at the same time here today. That's a ball. So as a result, we're doing a little more play-by-play than we ordinarily would for television, trying to hit the happy medium for both audiences. 2 balls and 1 strike. Boy, a couple of good fastballs, but just hasn't been able to get the strike zone with them. Lozinski on deck to the right. (3-1), fouled off. Before he delivers another pitch in there, we can get in a station identification. Ball inside and low to Schmidt. He walks for the second straight time. Second walk by Rooker. Schmidt's been the recipient on each occasion. And it'll bring up the left fielder and cleanup batter, Greg Lozinski.
This is a mistake we made last night, and almost, I think it did cost us a ball game, walking the leading lady of the inning.
Especially when they got a guy like this stepping up behind him. Schmidt at first, checked by Rooker, pitch to Lozinski, breaking pitch in for a strike. Wrap it up here on Monday night. Come home Tuesday on a Buck night attraction with the San Diego Padres. Dave Winfield in the game. Pitches a ball, snap, throw to first, but Schmidt got back. We're going to get our last look at home this year of the Padres, the Dodgers, and the Giants. Dodgers have perked up a little bit since the All-Star break. The Giants dropped to 6 below 500 last night. They've got a real job now. There's a drive to left. Ballpark will never hold it. It's a home run on the catwalk in left field. So a walk to Schmidt and a home run by Lozinski. It's his third against us. It's his 16th of the year. And Rooker finds himself down 4-0. We're going to take another look at the pitch and see where he got it.
Well, with a guy of Luzinski's caliber and strength, you don't have much room for error. That ball was more or less down and thigh high on the inside part of the plate, right where Greg Luzinski likes it, and he didn't miss it, Milo.
16 homers, 64 ribbies. Now it's Bob Boone who flied to center in the first inning. 4-0 Philadelphia. Missed with a fastball outside. Now our bullpen's got to go to work. It'll be Joe Coleman, I would think, and it is. Ball 2 to Boone. Joe Coleman, right-hander, the long man in our bullpen today, is already loosening. Rooker gave up a pair in the second, 2 more here in the third. We cannot let it get any worse. Fouled back to the right side. You're playing a club that's got a lot of talent. You can't let them run away and hide. Come from behind victories have been kind of patented by our buccos, but you can't flirt with that all the time. You can't keep putting your hitters to the wall.
Well, you don't want to give Dickie Knowles too much room to get very confident out there on that mound. He gets in a situation where his main concern is throwing strikes and having decent location. He can become a very tough pitcher.
2 balls and a strike. Ball 3. And on the other hand, if they get that kind of a lead, and Knowles does needs help, Danny Ozark used Reed very wisely last night. He didn't overwork him. He's got McGraw arrested. Bouncer short. Foley's got to fire in a hurry as that ball took him a little toward the hole. Gets him, and it's 1 away. Short to first. Foley on to Stargell. It's 1 away, and that'll bring up Maddox. Maddox in the second inning doubled. Anderson followed with a double, and Boa got the first run home with a sacrifice fly. Rose got the second run home with a triple to left center. Luzinski's just put 2 more on the board with a home run that was gone the minute it left the trademark. 1 ball and no strikes. Now that we, after Monday, and I don't mean that we are in any less important part of the season. In fact, if anything, it's more important. There's a bouncer foul down the third base side. But what we have talked about so often, and just before the All-Star break and since, of how the schedule, starting with that Houston series after the break until this Monday night when we finish here at Philly, of the day-to-day workload for this ball club with double headers and everything bunching up and the tremendous load in the pitching staff. The next question that Rooker has to face is, with his problems that he's having, where does he fit? Because once you don't need the number of starters we've been having, and the fact that with his shoulder and arm, he's not the type of pitcher that you can really put in the bullpen because he takes a long time to warm up. And if you use him, he has a problem of not being able to come back as often as you would if he was a regular bullpen man. There's a fly ball out into right center. Moreno cuts across, he dropped the ball. Got there and dropped it. Better take a picture of that. You won't see that happen. That's got to be an E8 because it was right there for him. He ran to the spot, got the glove up, and did not hold it.
Maddox goes with the pitch very well, hits the ball to right center. Omar has it measured on the way, puts it up, said, "I've got it," but whoop, hit on the heel of his glove and dropped straight down.
So it is an error on the center fielder. And Maddox is at second with 1 out, and Anderson is the batter. Anderson had a double down the right field line that Parker came over. Similar to that play. He got leather on it but never held it. The fact that he had come a long way to get there, they gave Anderson a double. But on the ball that Maddox just hit, it looked like Moreno was in track of the ball all the way, and they had to give him an error. Breaking ball inside at the knees. But the other thing that will dictate, I guess, as to the role that Rooker would play in the last 6 weeks or so is how Don Robinson's shoulder responds. Maybe the starting slot will be open there. Inside low, 2-0. Fortunately for me, that's not a problem I have to deal with head on. That's up to Chuck Tanner and Harvey Haddix. But it has to be part of the thinking here, because from now on, brother, every game is just like playing a game that means something. Because we're in the lead, everybody's going to be shooting at you. Club like the Padres, they've had some luck with us the last 2 years. They've got the Dodgers right up next to them again. And of course the Dodgers, who have been playing better since the break, and the Giants, who will be trying to get back to 500. There's a bouncer down the left side, so the homestand's not going to be a piece of cake either. There's not going to be a chance to relax just because we're going out of our division for a week and a half.
Well, there's such good balance in the league this year, especially in this Eastern Division. One little slip, a lack of concentration, or true physical exertion on the field, and a team could slip 8-9 games behind in a hurry.
3 balls and a strike. Coleman continues to work in our bullpen, and Anderson taking a little time. Maddox, who saw at second base, reached on the 2-base error on center fielder Omar Moreno. Moreno's 6th error of the year, and it's inside. Anderson gets a pass. Third walk given up by Rooker. The other 2 were to Mike Schmidt. Now Larry Bowa is the batter. He's down to the 8 and 9 hitters, or he might have been gone. You're just hoping that he can shut the door here on Bowa and then work to the pitcher and keep it to only a 2-run inning. Phillies are leading 4-0. They've out hit the Bucks 5-4. Inside. Ball and no strikes. 2 on, 1 out. That's in there. 1 ball and 1 strike. Milwaukee has Boston down 5-2 in the 3rd. Minnesota leading Oakland 3-1. They played into the night also, as we did. White Sox, after a rainout last night, are leading Toronto 2-1 in the 6th at Chicago. Out over the mound. Out into the middle, into center, base hit. Maddox will score. Throw to third. Safe. He slid under a swipe tag. Well, that was going on. Bowa tiptoed into second. It's a 5-0 game. All right, let's take a look at how it happened. Look at the leap and Lena here.
This is one of those choppers that it's a turf hit, just perfectly hit right up the middle. Here we see Gary Maddox carrying the mail. Mike Anderson challenging Omar Moreno, slides in away from the swiping tag of Bill Madlock. Bill never got him the first tag. Larry Bowa takes second base on the throw.
Chuck Tanner has no choice now. He's got to go to his bullpen. Rooker trying to fill a niche here today, did not do it. So Joe Coleman's going to be called in. He'll be looking at the pitcher when he does come on. So Rooker will have worked 2 1/3, 5 runs, 6 hits, walked 3, struck out 1. In a little defense of Rooker, in the 2nd inning, if Parker squeezes Anderson's ball, they don't score. If Moreno puts leather around Maddox's ball here, that's another run they wouldn't have. But still, they were hitting the ball and they were putting it in play. And he was struggling. He was, as you and I noted earlier, might have had as good a fastball as we've seen him have in a while, but he was throwing it out of the strike zone, and I got a feeling when he was missing, those Phillies, pretty good hitters, and as you talked about last night, they might be one of the best clubs around as far as sitting on a pitcher and waiting for him to make that mistake.
Well, they are. They're excellent mistake hitters. They will let you get behind them, sit on a pitch in a particular zone, and then they don't miss it. Jim Rooker had a little control trouble. Not that he was wild, but just not getting his pitches in his spots. Pitching behind the hitters, having to come in, and of course, the Philadelphia Phillies taking advantage.
So Coleman, the right-hander. It'll be a different situation that he comes in here today than he had to fill in Chicago the other day. This is the first time we've been with you, Nelson Briles, since that kind of a day. But before I get to that, I want you to talk about Coleman's style here as they look at him from 3 different angles.
Joe is not real stylish, kind of a no-frills type pitcher, a very basic, simple windup. Just throws a lot with his arm, doesn't use his body very well. Uses primarily a fastball, slider, and of course his forkball. Likes to throw that forkball, especially to left-handed hitters, as his out pitch.
I just wanted to talk to you about it from a pitcher's standpoint, and also how the club backs up the job that he did the other day. What he had to do in Chicago the other day is a thankless, no-win situation. To be put on a mound and say, hey, we got about 6 innings to go. The score is about 12-0. You're it. And I don't mean we're playing tag. And then go out there knowing that you're it, no matter how many they get, no matter how many they hit. You're going to be on the mound till it's over. There's a swing and a miss by Knowles.
It's a tough spot to be in, and you have to really give Joe Coleman a lot of credit. He said, hey, it has to be done. I'll do it. We got to save our arms. We're out of the ball game. Maybe it'll help us down the road.
And we came back and won the next game. Fouled off. So it's strike 2 to Knowles. He was called out on strikes in the second. That was the only strikeout that Rooker recorded. When Coleman comes in now, and there is a good look at Joe Coleman. He's been around. He knows that this is a chance for him because he was at Portland with AAA. He knows that his role is, well, he's just kind of a guy to have around. It's bluntly, you're talking, he's a body. And he'll have to fill some different roles, and he's come on now to try to keep them from blowing this thing completely out of proportion. A bouncer foul on a check swing down the right side. That ball almost had eyes. And he comes in with runners at second and third. Anderson's at third. Bo is at second. There's only 1 out in the inning. He also knows right here, with the infield drawn up on the right side and third baseman on the base path and the shortstop up halfway, that he'd love to cut down one of those guys. Just threw the ball away, and they're going to give him one. That was not what he had in mind. Anderson scores. Boa gets to third. That'll make it 6-0 Philadelphia. All right, let's see what he was trying to do here.
This is a ball that got away from him, trying to throw that slider low and away, but just pulled it way across his body. Ed Ott didn't have a chance to get out there and get in front of it. See Mike Anderson coming across the plate to score on the wild pitch.
So now it's a 4-run inning, and the Phillies are leading 6-0.
That hurts too, Milo, with the pitcher up there. You figure maybe you have a chance.
That's right.
To at least get that second out, and then a sacrifice fly is meaningless.
Now the pitcher's even got a chance to get the sacrifice fly yet, because Boa came over to third. Well, he struck him out, so it eliminates it for right now. Go to the top of the order with Pete Rose. Now a trio on deck. And Rose, the kind of a hitter he is, boy, he got as good an idea of that strike zone as anybody. You'd almost wish he'd throw this ball to him, the first one, anywhere but in the strike zone, wouldn't you?
You've got to make your pitch. You don't want to come over and throw a ball just over the plate to challenge Pete, because he's going to be ready for that good pitch to hit. He just wants a single, wants to drive in the run.
Up high a ball. It's 1-0. Rose is the 8th Philly to bat in the inning. Got the fastball on the corner at the letters, and it's 1-1. Rose batting right-handed against Rooker, bounced out, tripled, and drove in a run. Now, of course, batting left-handed against Coleman, with Boa at third and 2 away. Fouled off over here to the left. That makes it 1-2. Boa's at third base. And he'll be coming up that line. Joe Coleman taking a little extra time. Ed Ott not down to give the sign yet, as you see. Now he does. Coleman in relief of Rooker. We're in the third inning. Line fair into the right field corner. That'll make it 7-0, and Rose is at second. Parker had trouble, and Rose is going to make him pay for it. There'll have to be an error because he had stopped. He was at second with a double. Rose looking back over his shoulder. Boy, when he saw Parker bobble that ball momentarily, he didn't waste any time. He just kept on coming. That'll have to be a double and an E9.
It's a bullet hit down the right field corner. The ball stays in the corner pretty well. Dave Parker waiting for it to come out as we see Larry Boa score. But Pete didn't check into second base. He was hustling all the way and saw the Parker bobble the ball momentarily, and Pete already had his momentum going and just checked right on into third.
Makes it 7-0. Rose getting his second RBI. Trio sends a high fly ball to right side. The defense that got us going after the All-Star break to get us to the top of the league, that had been really a keynote of this club in most of the games in the last 3 weeks, is not first on the agenda for the Buccos here today. They've made 2 errors. There was another one that could have been scored, and they're letting the Phillies get their foot in the door again here. 1 ball and 1 strike to Trio. He has bounced out twice, each time to the shortstop Foley. Rose at third. Trio is the 9th Philly to bat in the inning. We're in the third inning. Base hit. 8-0. So Schmidt, who started the whole thing with a base on balls, is going to bat again.
Here's the pitch to Manny Trio. Pretty good pitch to hit right over the middle of the plate. Pitch that Manny Trio hits very well. Pulled it in the hole. Driving in Pete Rose. We're down 8-0.
Mike Schmidt has been up twice, walked twice. There's another bonus that the Phillies are going to get out of this kind of an inning. Other than building an 8-0 lead, it may be that Danny Ozark will say now that Schmidt, who was a questionable starter anyway, he can get him out of there.
He might have him play a few more innings, but I'll guarantee you after the 5th inning, Mike Schmidt will probably be gone. And Greg Luzinski, he'll put his best gloves on the field.
Ball 2 and no strikes. Wow, the defense has been a little sieve-like here for the Bucks today. It also goes hand in glove with shaky pitching. Good pitching will bring out better defense because the guys are on their toes more. If there's a lot of base runners and a lot's going on, then they're not playing as sharply because they're wondering if they're ever going to get another out. Then it mushrooms, and that's what it's done here in this game, and that's why the Phillies are leading 8-0. 3 balls and 1 strike. Schmidt is the batter. 10th man to bat in the inning against Rooker and Coleman. Luzinski is on deck. Trio is at first base. 6 runs are in the inning. There's a bouncer foul outside third. To pay off pitches due. Schmidt had stepped back a moment. All right, he is ready, and so is Coleman. Responds to the sign, stretches, swing and a miss, struck him out. Sides retired, but a long, tough inning. 10 men back. 6 of them score on 1, 2, 3. Only 4 hits. 2 Pirate errors. and 1 man left. So we'll be going to the 4th inning. Pirate bats, if they're going to rattle, need to do it now. Cannot wait to get them all back at once. After 3 innings, it's the Phillies 8 and the Pirates nothing.
People use our money to get the most out of life.
For more than 100 years, Household Finance has been helping all kinds of people get the most out of life in all kinds of ways. We'd like to help you, too.
Sure would like to help you make your dreams come true. Come on into HFC.
I didn't start out to be a television newsman. Like many youngsters, I dreamed of a sports career. But I also had a fascination with the law, so during college, I became a police officer. Good reporters, like good cops, are always on the job. What are you talking about today? They feel a responsibility to the people they serve. I enjoy reporting in Pittsburgh. It's a friendly town where the people just tell it like it is. They make my job easy, so I have to make it good.
The next 3 innings are sponsored in part by Gulf Oil Corporation and your local Gulf dealer. And in part by Daily Juice Products, sponsors of Daly's Favorite Pirate Contest. You be sure to vote in the Daly's Favorite Pirate Contest. As we go to the 4th inning, this total board rears its ugly head. Phillies 8-8-0, Bucks 0-4-2. Young Dickie Knowles got to feel like he's in hog heaven out there right now.
He's got a lot to work with, got a lot of room for error, but he also has to really concentrate on the mound, make sure that he gets ahead of his hitters and stays with his game plan, just as though it was a close ball game.
Stargell is the first man he'll face here in the 4th inning. Captain has to walk the tightrope to get out of the way of that low inside pitch, and it's ball 1 and no strike. Stargell bounced into a double play in the 1st inning. He'll be followed by Milner and then Madlock. Fouled it off of an instep, and the captain's dog has got to be barking there.
It is. He's walking it off. That's smarts.
Oh, brother. He's abandoned that shin guard that he wore so long. He's probably saying to himself, why is that thing in my locker?
Where was it when I needed it?
1 ball and 1 strike. 1 and 2. Dickie Knowles, right-hand rookie, working for the Phillies. This is low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Stargell batting .293 at the moment. And the 2-2 pitch. Struck him out. Stargell goes down swinging to start the 4th. That is the first strikeout recorded by the rookie right-hander. Milner is going to be the batter in there now. He had a base hit in the 2nd inning. And a pitch high inside. Wind's starting to blow up here a little bit. There was some rain in the area. I wouldn't care if it poured. Like for 2 hours. High fly ball into right center field. Anderson is there, and that'll make it 2 away. I want to remind you this copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by the Pirates solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Pirates is prohibited. Madlock will be the batter. Madlock hit into a double play in the 2nd inning, so he's 0 for 1. Got it on the corner at the knees, away from the knees, and it is strike 1. Boy, what about that Boston Red Sox outfielder, Freddie Lynn? My God, there's a ball hit off the pitcher. Caroms to Bo, a bare hand pickup, throwing not in time, and a little off target. It should go as a base hit. Lynn's got 31, Rice has 30. Let's see where this ball hit him, Nelson.
Well, this is a bullet. One hopper right back at him. Looked like it got it a lot of glove, but also a little bit of the inside part of the thigh. Boa coming in, trying to save the play, has no chance as Madlock hustled down the line for a base hit.
You saw Lynn. What in the world is he doing? Did you ever figure him to be that kind of a home run hitter?
Well, he had that one real good year, his rookie year, in which he hit 40 or more home runs. And then he tailed off somewhat due to some physical injuries. Last winter, he went back on a weight program, feels as though he strengthened his hands and arms considerably. And now he's got that same home run swing back, drilling the ball a little further.
All right, this is Ed Ott, who singled in the second inning. The first pitch is a ball, 1-0. The Phillies are leading 8-0. The Pirates are batting in the fourth. We split the doubleheader last night. After today, we've got two more. Sunday night with Bibby, Monday night with Candelaria. Home Tuesday against the Padres on Buck night. 2 balls and no strikes. Ed Ott singled through the left side in the second. We've been out hit 8-5, outscored 8-0. We just haven't put any of those hits in clusters, and that's what we're going to have to do. There's a high fly ball to left field. Luzinski back. Should be easy. It is as he backs onto the track. Carried a little more than it looked like it was going to. But Luzinski was up to the task. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left. We played into the middle of the fourth. Phillies 8, Pirates nothing.
Good evening, Mr. Throneberry. Hi, Fred. In my first commercial for light beer for Miller, I said if I did for light what I did for baseball, I'm afraid their sales might go down. But sales keep going up. Folks love light because it's got 1/3 less calories than their regular beer, and it's less filling. And they love the way it tastes. And you know, folks love my commercials. They think I'm a big star.
Mr. Throneberry?
This sure beats baseball.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
People do some crazy things to get better mileage. So Gulf would like to recommend a few that aren't so crazy, like replacing worn-out spark plugs, switching to a multi-grade oil, even adjusting your brakes. These simple things can get you better mileage, and that's smart. So get the most out of the gas you buy, and the place you buy it. Drive smart. How's it work?
Not so good in the car wash.
It's a long drive, going, foul. If your transmission's gone foul after a long drive, see your local AMCO dealer.
Hey, Bert, what are you doing? I'm choosing my home stretch season tickets. If I buy box seats for our September games, I'm guaranteed box seats for the playoffs and World Series here at Three Rivers. No, Bert, you're all wet. You and I will be in the playoffs and World Series.
Phones are being manned right now. Why don't you call 323-5080, 323-5080. Call now. As we go to the fourth, Luzinski will be the batter. Luzinski has had a single and a 2-run homer. Hit his home run on the left field catwalk in the third inning. Down and away from him from Coleman, who is working in his second inning. Luzinski, Boone, and Maddox are due here in the fourth inning for the Phillies. High inside makes it 2-0. High fly ball to center. Moreno drifting over, puts up his hand to let Parker know he's there, and has it right as he goes onto the track. I got a feeling the way that ball carried back, and the one that Ott hit to Luzinski to close the fourth, Nelson Browns, that wind is swirling out there and taking that ball toward the outfield fence.
The ball is starting to carry a little further. It's cooling off quite a bit here now, Milo, and we might have a little rain start to fall on our heads.
Can you put music with that?
The raindrops keep falling on my head.
This is a good day to sing, folks. It's 8-0. Phillies. Boone, the batter, he flied to center and he bounced to short.
Rain dance might be very appropriate.
And it's in there. No balls and 2 strikes. You got time. You're only in the 4th inning, but you need to pack away, get a deuce and a tray, and then get a 5, and all of a sudden you're tied. Lined foul down the left side. Well, you can really tell Boone is not taking that good swing. It's almost like he's swinging with one hand.
Well, it is. Any type of hard contact really jars the back of that hand. He was hitting the back of his catching hand by a pitched ball, and it seemed to bruise those tendons, and any type of jarring motion really sends a lot of pain up that arm.
Well, he gets a base hit. A little looping liner that bounces beyond Foley's reach and goes into center. That will be their 9th hit in this game, and it's the 3rd off the reliever, Joe Coleman. Well, we've had some peculiar games on this road trip. The 2 in Chicago, the blowouts. We won the game in between. Last night were both 1-runners. Now here today, the Phillies putting a big pad up there, 2 in the 2nd and 6 in the 3rd, and leading 8-0. And Boone is on with 1 out, and Maddox the batter. Ball 1 low outside. Those of you watching on television and maybe just joining us, wondering why I'm describing the pitches a little more, it's because we're on radio also. Remember, there are a lot of places getting us on radio who are not able to get the TV, so we're trying to hit the happy medium for both audiences. That's a strike call. 1-1. Trying to think when the last time I did this, and I think it was a basketball game in 1953 between St. Louis University and the Kentucky Wildcats. Fouled it back, 1-2. I was glad to get out of there that night also, because it was, there's a bouncer foul down the left side. As I recall, it was St. Patrick's Day. The students, and I wouldn't want to name the school, had been visiting some local establishments who had put some green in the suds. They hadn't been in school all day, and ball low outside, and it was a very big game because both of the teams were nationally ranked, and somebody challenged somebody in the 2nd half, and the student body thought it was up to them to come down and help. Yeah, it was that night, kind of. There's a swing and a miss. He got him. He would drop down sidearm that time, so Coleman picks up his 3rd strikeout, 4th against the Phillies in the game, makes it 2 away. And Mike Anderson will be the batter. Anderson's had a double and a walk, scored twice. Montreal leading the Mets 4-2, 5th inning. That ball game at Shea. They played a doubleheader last night, and they split it. Out over the middle and out into center for another hit. Mike Anderson responding to the starter's gate here, on base for the 3rd straight time. 4 hits off Coleman, 10 hits for the Phillies, and it'll bring up Larry Boa, who's driven in a run with a sacrifice fly, driven in another with a single. Boa batting with 2 on and 2 away. It's the bottom of the 4th inning. The vet in Philadelphia is the scene. We'll be here twice more in this series, Sunday night and Monday night. We've got the 8-9 hitters due up in the 5th inning. Right now, nothing happening in our bullpen. Inside a ball. One ball, no strikes. Boa batting left-handed against the right-hand reliever Coleman. Smashed on the ground to Garner. He'll come up throwing on to Stargell. That'll do it. Side retired. Second to first. Scraps to Captain Willie. Boa's out. So are the Phillies. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. They leave a pair. We've played 4 innings. Phillies are having it all their own way so far. We'll go to the 5th with the Phillies 8 and the Buccos nothing.
kind of vacation fares do you have for a family of 4? 2 adults and 2 little shavers.
Well, United's got their best summer fares ever. Adults can save up to 40%, 50% with Night Coach. And this summer, kids 17 and under can fly for half.
You mean they don't have to be under 12 anymore?
No.
Oh, did you find your quarter down there, boys?
United's fantastic, fabulous flying fares.
Thanks, a nice lady.
Fly the friendly skies.
DJ and Penny present The Clown for Daly's Fresh Fruit Flavor Concentrate. Daly's Fresh Fruit Flavor Concentrate in the 104-pack gallon or the convenient 26-pack. 7 fresh fruit flavors. Daly's fruit-flavored concentrate. 3 cents a glass and no sugar needed.
Well, this is it as we go to the 5th for Karen Knight of Ruffsdale. Karen Knight, you've guessed it. We're going to play Giant Eagle home run sweepstakes. Now, if a bucko hits a home run here in the top of the 5th, Karen Knight's going to win $1,200 worth of Giant Eagle groceries. And as we go to the 5th, it'll be Garner. The pitcher is due. And then up to the top with Omar Moreno. Knowles has completed his warm-up tosses, and Scrap Iron is headed toward the heap. He's been up once. He hit into a force play to the shortstop in the 2nd inning. So Phil Garner stepping in as we play on the TV side Giant Eagle sweepstakes. Karen Knight of Ruffsdale is our contestant at home, and Garner is the batter. High pop left side. Shortstop Boa says he's going to backpedal and make the play, and he does. As he went out, he let the left fielder Ledzinski know, don't come on, I'm going to be there. So it's a pop-up, and Joe Coleman's going to bat here. Coleman batting in an 8-0 game in favor of the Phillies. Takes a strike. Omar Moreno will be coming out on deck. Takes the cut and comes up empty. This might be one of those games also, Nellie, where we've been trying to get Moreno out. Maybe after he bats in this inning, put Bill Robinson out in center. He hasn't played every day lately, and he can handle center field adequately. That's a strike, and he's gone. So it's a strikeout for Dickie Knowles. It's the second that he's recorded. The other was Stargell in the 4th inning. That way, a fellow like Moreno, who's been playing every day, only missed 1 game, would get out of here early, have the night off, and maybe come back a little fresher tomorrow against Christensen. Moreno's had a base hit, and he's bounced out. Karen Knight, Omar's your man. Nobody on, 2 away. Knowles has gone all the way so far against Rooker and Coleman. Swinging strike, 0-1. Moreno with the 1 for 2 today is back at the 290 mark. Maddox and Ledzinski both play him as an off-field hitter. He's got a big gap in right center. No balls and 1 strike. 0-2, caught the outside corner. Dickie Knowles, N-O-L-E-S. His 2nd appearance against us. We put a loss on him last week. He's trying to make it a little bit different this time around. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Right now, he's working with an 8-0 lead as he pitches in the 5th inning. Started after it laid off. That'll make it 2-2. When Bibby pitches tomorrow night, he'll draw Christensen. Monday night, the Candyman will get Dick Ruthven. So we saw 2 lefties last night. The next 3 will be righties, counting Knowles here today, followed by Christensen and Ruthven. And the 2-2 pitch. Fouled up this way, holding 2-2 to the Antelope. Bucks have no runs so far, 5 hits. They've made a couple of bobbles. Phillies are 8-10-0. They got 2 in the second and 6 in the third. So the young rookie right-hander is dancing right now. Dickie Knowles. Fly ball right field. Pretty well hit. Right fielder back. Won't get it. Home run. And it is a Giant Eagle sweepstakes winner here. And Karen Knight of Roughdale wins the Giant Eagle home run sweepstakes worth $1,200. As well as the Tasty Cake family packs and an assortment of daily juice products available at your grocer. Our next sweepstakes inning will be worth $100 in Giant Eagle grocery certificates. Congratulations to Karen Knight for Omar's home run. And let's take another look here and see just what he hit and how it went out of here.
Well, Omar hung in there pretty well. Fouled off a couple of pretty good pitches. Finally got a ball to his liking. And he got it all. Hit a nice, high, long drive. And with the ball carrying pretty well right now, went high off the back tarp over the 371 mark. As Tim Foley gets an infield hit.
All right, that's Tim's second hit in this game. We now have 7 hits. So the home run and the single coming after 2 away. The Bucks get on the board. It's an 8-1 game. Omar Moreno in the home run department. It's his first against the Phillies, and for the year Omar now has 7, and it gives him 50 runs batted in. Parker has walked and he's bounced to short. Fouled off, bang into that backstop. Hit it that hard the other way, and it'll be 8-3. That's what you got to hope for. You got to hope that you can just put enough together here to jump back on him. There's a foul up here to the left side, and it's 2 strikes on Dave Parker. Parker batting .301. Foley at first. 0-2 pitch. A little outside. 1-2. They got some action in their bullpen. Fouled off. Kevin Sauché. Worked in both ends of last night's doubleheader, and he's out there warming up now. A run in on a Moreno homer to right center. 2-2. Tim Foley first base, 2 away. Right-hander Dickie Knowles getting a sign from Boone. Checks the runner at first. High and away. Ball 3. And remember, Stargell's due up next, and then Milner. You got to strike while the iron is hot when you're down 8-1.
We have an opportunity here to get back in this ball game. We let a couple of scoring opportunities pass earlier. We need a good ball from not only Parker, but now Willie Stargell.
And we just got a good ball from Knowles. It was ball 4.
Thank you very much.
I'd be glad to be your straight man. When do we take this act on the road? Here comes Herm Starrett, the pitching coach. That's the second walk given up. All right, he got out to try to settle the youngster down a little bit, because if Stargell will all of a sudden unload, that gets you back halfway. When you started the inning 8-0. That also gets them to thinking a little bit.
And he's not past the 5th inning. He needs 5 complete innings to get to qualify for a win.
And I'll tell you one thing. If he gets out of this game before this inning is completed and knows that an 8-0 game went by the board and he wasn't by the inning, that will not be the only fifth he won't get by. He might be dangerous somewhere tonight later. Captain right there was going for the downs too. He had a pretty good rip, didn't he?
Yeah, Willie knows the job he has at hand, and he's going to look for the pitch in his zone.
Just outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. 6th inning at Shea. Montreal leading the Mets 4-2. Line drive, right field, base hit. Foley's coming home. The throw will come toward the mound. Rose is there to get it. So Foley scores. It's 8-2. Parker's at second. Stargell's at first, and we've got another left-hand batter coming up in the person of John Milner. Well, Captain Willie drives in a run.
Willie got a ball in his zone where he likes it, but unfortunately got on top of the ball just a little bit. Hit the line drive instead of getting the ball up and maybe hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Driving in Tim Foley. The throw coming in is cut off by Pete Rose as Tim Foley dents the dish.
And Danny Ozark right here is going to make an impression on a rookie.
This is not a popular move. He's going to Saucier out of the bullpen. Who says these games in August don't mean a lot?
Well, he's going to give the youngster something to think about, because he's gone here with a 6-run lead. He cannot be the winner. Saucier is on for the 3rd time in 3 games. Better nail down the chairs in that clubhouse. The youngster's headed in. All right, Nelly's going to run down the stats on this young lefty that's coming in relief.
This is going to be his 18th appearance. Only one coming as a starter. He's 1-1 with a 3.35 ERA. And as of yet has not recorded his first save.
Kevin Saucier has been brought on to look at Milner, because if he leaves Knowles in and he makes another mistake, Milner does something to him, then it's an 8-5 game. So Ozark evidently figured, hey, I cannot go any longer in this situation. And while they're going to let the youngster warm up, we'll remind you that on August 14th, when the Pirates take on Dave Winfield, Riley Fingers, and the San Diego Padres, that's next Tuesday night, all tickets will be discounted at $1.50. That's right. Buck Night is back at Three Rivers. And you can see the Pirates continue their drive toward the top in the East. Bargain prices for the game. $4.50 for boxes. $2.75 and $1.75 for reserves. And all general admission seats will cost only $1. That's Buck Night next Tuesday night, August 14th at Three Rivers, when the Bucks host the Padres. And here's the style of the left-hand rookie reliever.
Well, as we look at Saucier and slow-mo, a point comes to mind, Milo, that number one, they are not going to take out their defense early in a ball game, just in case the Pirates do come back later in the ball game and make the score close. If it gets later in the game, then they can pull their defense if they're still this 5 or 6 runs behind. But to pull your top hitters early in a ball game, you're really gambling that the other ball club is not going to come back and haunt you later in the game.
All right, we're ready to go. The reliever Saucier is ready. Milner's in there. John has had a single today in 2 trips. Got a base hit in the 2nd inning. Parker's at second. Stargell's at first. 2 runs are in. Trying to chop away at the Philly lead. Strike on the outside corner. The other day against Carlton at home, we were down 8-3. Ended up tying it and winning it. And this is the guy who did it with a grand slam. He didn't have a chance for a slam there, but he sure had a chance for 3/4 of one, and he had that kind of a swing.
Boy, he was going for it, but Saucier made a good pitch there. That was his good, hard breaking ball. John Milner wasn't off of it by very much.
He's out in front of the hammer 0-2. Krause came off of that good bender with a tight one. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 away. The Bucks have put a deuce on the board. You'd like to get more? Well, you got something going. Phillies are leading 8-2, 5th inning. There's a shot into center for a base hit. And coming home is the Cobra. It's an 8-3 game. If this isn't the most unpredictable game in the world, then what is? Here it is.
John Milner hangs in there very well with that breaking ball from the left-hander, drills it right up the middle. Davy Parker rounds third, ends up scoring for us. Willie Stargell holds at second base. Nice going, John Milner. Stayed right with that ball.
Well, I tell you, he really battled this hard-throwing lefty, and Madlock fouls one back. Now their bullpen is going again, and it's Tug McGraw. Tug probably saying, yeah, warm me up now. Milner is hit. Got the outside corner with a tailing fastball. Now he's got Madlock in a hole. 0-2. Stargell is at second base. Milner is at first. 3 runs are in. The Pirates are trying to make a dent. Threw that one away. This has all happened after 2 outs. Starter got Garner to pop and Coleman to strike out. Fouled it off. Then Moreno started the trouble with a home run to right center. Foley singled. Parker walked. Stargell got a base hit to drive in Foley. Milner just greeted Sauché with a base hit that Foley tried to get but couldn't. That brought Parker home. It's an 8-3 game. Madlock is 1 for 2, trying to keep it going in the Pirate 5th. Fouled it off again. Had a couple of good swings here on pitches that he's really had to fight off.
Well, he has fouling off the good pitches, hoping that sooner or later Sauché will make that mistake. He'll get a good pitch to rip.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out. The pitch. Fouled up to the right side. Bill Madlock. Boy, an opportunity knocking for him. He's the 8th Pirate to bat in the inning. Take a look at our runners. Stargell is at second. Milner is at first. And Madlock the hitter. Boy, a hit here might be enough to turn the tide, because then they'd have to say, here they come. Muscled up on a fastball, and it took off. McGraw has been joined by a right-hander. Bouncer gets by third. It'll head toward the corner. Stargell scores. Milner's going to be held at third base, and Madlock has doubled in a run, and all of a sudden it's 8-4. The Buccos are coming. Tra-la, tra-la, and this is a comeback inning here.
Well, you talk about a battle. Madlock, foul off, foul off, foul off. Finally gets a breaking ball up where he likes it. Hits the ball hard down the line. Mike Schmidt trying to backhand it. Doesn't come up with anything. Captain Willie denting the dish with a run. Milner carrying the mail on to third base. Bill Madlock pulling into second. We've got runners on second and third with 2 out. Ed Ott the hitter.
All right, now all of a sudden, instead of it being 8-0, folks, it's 8-4. Too close to the knees. I'm sure there were some eyebrows raised, especially on the national scene, since this is national TV today. And as we mentioned, a right-hander had joined McGraw, and it's Raleigh Eastwick. But when Coleman batted in the 5th in an 8-0 game, but so far so good. Fouled up this way, and it's 2-1. And our bullpen has started to work. Enrique Romo. He's in there someplace under the numbers. There he is. Enrique. There's a tapper toward short. Boa in. Grabs. Throws. Safe. Milner scores, and it's 8-5. And how about that? That's Ed Ott busting his tail to get down there and beat the wrap. Ball hung in the air long enough, and Nelly's going to show it to you.
Well, they've had a couple of these in the game that has hurt us. Here is one turnabout fair play. Ed Ott chops one over the mound. Boa charges the ball, makes a good play, but Ed Ott, out of pure hustle, down the line, beats the play. John Milner scores. Hits an 8-5 ball game.
Hey, maybe this is one of those repeat acts. We've now out-hit them 11-10. Rose and Boone and Sauché are going to talk it over. Phil Garner, who started the inning by popping up to the shortstop, is going to be batting. He's the 10th man to bat in the inning. Boy, oh boy. Herm Starrett, their pitching coach, is on the way. I got a feeling they're going to go to Eastwick here, because we've got Garner. Wouldn't that be something if you passed up a chance to pinch hit for your pitcher in an 8-0 game? Then the second time around in the inning, if Garner were to deliver, then you'd lift him.
Then you have a chance to pitch hit for him one more time. He's going to Eastwick.
Yep. Someday somebody will figure out this game, but it won't happen in either your or my lifetime.
And I don't think they've got much of a shot at it either.
So they're going to bring in their third pitcher. And the natives are getting a little restless here. All right, Raleigh Eastwick. This is how he's been doing.
Well, he's 2-2 so far this year with a 4.66 ERA. This will be his 36th appearance, all in relief. 55.2 innings pitched. He has 4 saves.
So Eastwick is making the long walk in. It's the Phillies 8 runs and 10 hits. The Buccos 5 runs, 11 hits. Now, here's one of those psychological games. The Phillies get out in front 8-0. Looks like they had a cakewalk going. It almost looked like we had decided, with Coleman batting for himself in the inning, we're not going to go through the bullpen and parade him out here with 2 more big games to play in this series at the Vet. If we were to come back in this game, and I mean come back all the way and really win it, that could be a real thorn in the side of these Phillies as far as the importance of this series, because all the Bucks really want here is to win 3 out of 5 and leave town no worse off, and with 3 out of 5 would go out a game better than they came in.
That's why this can generally almost be a pivotal game in this series. We're going to see a slow-mo of Raleigh Eastwick. The team today that wins has a pretty good edge going into the next 2 games, because I think they can gamble a little more, take a few more chances on winning that extra ball game. That's why we like to come back in this game. Plus, I think it would really give us some real added momentum and confidence against these Philadelphia Phillies, and it has to be a downer for the Phillies.
All right. And of course, the next step too is then we've got to get the next guy that goes out to that mound to shut the door. We can't let them come back and get some. All right. As you saw, Madlock is at third, and at first base you have Ed Ott, and the batter is Garner, who has bounced to short and popped to short, and Eastwick is ready for his first pitch to scrap iron. Fouled it off, strike 1. And Boone, I think, took some toll on that one, didn't he?
Certainly did, and that was off his meat hand there. It looked like it came off the end of his thumb, and of course your first reaction is a split finger or a split thumb. Let's see if we can see where this ball hits him.
Came right up out of the mitt and hit the throwing hand, didn't
Boy,
it?
he certainly did. Had that bare hand sticking up above the glove. Of course.
Well, that'd give him 2 bad hands. 1 ball and 1 strike. And Mike Easler, if Garner saves him a bat in this inning, will pinch hit. One ball, 1 strike. Runners on the corners. Did he go? Yes, he did. They asked for an appeal. First base umpire rung it up. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here it is.
Did he or didn't he? Oh, those hands went through.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Garner waiting. He's got teammates on the corners, 2 away, 5 runs are in. Fouled up to the right side. The Phillies are leading 8-5. It's game 3 in this 5-game series. Last night we had 2 games that you couldn't relax a minute. They won the opener in 12 innings. We came back to take the nightcap. 2 one-run verdicts. Get way behind in this one, but trying to come back. That ball handcuffed Boone a little bit, but it didn't get by, and Garner very wisely and rapidly letting both runners know he's got it right with him, so don't anybody take a step away.
That's right, alertly letting them know that the ball was right in front of the plate and they wouldn't get caught off the bag.
2 balls and 2 strikes and 2 down and 2 base runners. Strike call. So Eastwick comes in and shuts the door. But the Buccos had an inning. Did they ever? They sent 10 men to the plate. 5 of them scored, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. There weren't any Philly errors. We left a pair, but right now, folks, we're back in this thing. This is no longer a blowout. We put a patch on the leak, and we're back as a family, and we're going to the bottom of the 5th. We're halfway through this game. Phillies 8, Pirates 5. And now here's a tasty break from Tasty Cake. Omar Moreno, when he hit that home run, Nelson Briles put himself right into a tie for his highest year as far as the big leagues. 77 with the Bucks when he hit 7, so he's going to have his best year in the biggies. Most he ever hit was 9, a couple of times in the minor leagues, once at Salem and another time at Charleston. So the home run, while at the time that he hit it didn't look like it was a great big one, but it sure did trigger something, didn't it?
That was a spark, evidently, that we needed that weekend.
And the pitch from Coleman to Eastwick is in there. Eastwick is leading it off here in the Philly 5th. Strike 2. Now the thing that's got to happen, now that we've put it back together with the bats, we got to keep the Phillies from coming back with any more, because while it may not be especially easy to come back once, it's really tough to come back twice. That is a ball. He tried to get him to chase the ball going away with a little crossfire step, but he let it go by, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. In other words, you can't keep putting the pressure on your hitters. There's a foul up this way, 2-2. Oh, that wind is really blowing here now, and it's starting to kick dirt up in those skinned off parts on the infield. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that'll do it for Eastwick on the strikeout for Coleman, his 4th. That's the 5th strikeout in the game against the homestanding Phillies. So Joe Coleman starts it with a strikeout against Eastwick. Now you go to the top of their order with Rose, who's had a triple, driven in a run, double and driven in a run, and scored another one. Rose hitting .316 by getting the 2 for 3 in this one. Fastball up and away, 1-0. Phillies are batting in the 5th. They are in front by 3 in an 8-5 game. Boy, that was close. Ott held it there, but the plate umpire didn't change his mind. He called it a ball and stuck with it. 2 balls and no strikes. Lined it to center. Moreno will be there. Hit that ball on the nose. Fortunately, Moreno could come on and get it.
Pete must be seeing the ball very well right now, because he's making very solid contact every time up. Fortunately, that was at Omar.
The Joe Coleman Adam pitch. Boy, that's what you got to start getting now that you've gotten back in the game. Trio had a hit the last time up and drove in their 8th run. At that time, it looked like all they were doing was trying to get another nail to put in the coffin, because it was 8-0. But the Buccos got a 5 of their own. There's a high fly ball. Right field. Parker will drift right there. Coleman has an easy inning. 1, 2, 3. So we've played 5. Now let's go to work with the bats again. At the end of 5 at the vet. Phillies 8. Pirates 5. Well, we're getting ready to go to the 6th inning, and the game's a little different than it was a couple of innings ago, and we're going to play another Giant Eagle home run sweepstakes. And in Midland, if you're listening, Lucy D'Incenjo. D''INNOCENGO. Lucy, if a Bucco hits a home run in this inning in the top of the 6th, we're at $100 again, because you know we had a winner when Omar hit his in the last inning. So here we go with another Giant Eagle home run sweepstakes inning. Manny Sanguillen will lead it off in a pinch hitter's role here. Manny will be batting against Raleigh Eastwick as our game moves to the 6th inning. Raleigh Eastwick waiting for Sangy to get comfortable up there. They've turned the lights on here because in the last 15 minutes it has darkened up. It's getting very cloudy. There's a foul off Sangy's bat. Sangy batting .231, and Romo is heating up in the bullpen again. He'll be a new pitcher when we go to the bottom of the 6th. Sangy with his .231 average, no homers, 1 RBI. No balls, 2 strikes. Sanguillen played first base in the first game of last night's doubleheader. Went 1 for 5, got a single in the 12th inning. A ball that makes Boa back up. A long throw will not be in time. So the overspin on that one hit hard enough to back Boa way up, and Sangy pumping down the line beat the rep. So let's hope that can be the start of something, Nelson Briles.
Well, this is another one of those turf hit high bouncers. Boa knew he didn't have a chance to get in and short hop the ball, so he played it on the next hop, tried to make the throw, but Sangy got down the line pretty good, got himself an infield base hit.
First hit off Eastwick. It's our 12th hit of the game. 22 hits and 13 runs, and we've got a third of the game to go. Omar Moreno with a single and a homer. Last time up, he made a contestant at home happy. See if he can do it again. There's a bouncer to Rose, throws to short, back to first. No, safe at first base. It's the front man only. Score at 3-6. Rose to Boa, and Moreno is safe at first base as you take another look.
Omar gets a pitch that he tries to pull somewhat. The ball goes right straight to Pete Rose, who makes a pretty good throw to Larry Boa. Tries to turn the double play, but Omar and his speed beats the play. The pitcher's very fortunate as we see his foot completely in front of the bag. Omar could have hurt him seriously.
And if it would have been the type of a runner who dives at the bag on a bang-bang play, what does he hit? He hits that ankle. All right, here's Tim Foley with a sacrifice, a double and a single and a run score. And a strike. And on the TV side, Lucy D'Incenjo of Midland is hoping Foley can get his first home run of the year. No balls and a strike. Moreno first base, 1 out, 6th inning. He's going. Foley tried to give him some running room, throw down, got him. Boone really got rid of that ball. And let's watch Boone with the break of Moreno and how he gets rid of it.
Omar's off and running, and here's a good situation for you young catchers to watch. An expert catcher up, got rid of the ball very quickly and put the ball right on the money. Menetrio making the tag.
So it's the 2-4 caught stealing, and there's Bob Boone, who just made a big play. We were trying to make something happen. He shut it off for the time being. Bunting foul by Foley with Schmidt playing back. And it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. final. White Sox beat Toronto 6-1. Couple of others in the late innings. 6th inning, Brewers lead Red Sox 5-4. 6th inning, Oakland over Minnesota 6-5. You know, if Oakland would go ahead and win that game, and Kansas City would win at home against Detroit tonight, they'd slip by Minnesota. That's how it's tightened up over in that division. Foul down the right side. We talked about Kansas City last night, just kind of slowly, without anybody really noticing, slipping back up in there. If they would once get by Minnesota, I think that just might be a little price. Comebacker to the mound, and Eastwick will throw him out, and the side has been retired. Well, no home run was hit during this Giant Eagle sweepstakes inning, but no one ever loses here. Our contestant, Lucy Dinocencio of Midland, will receive a certificate for 10 Tasty Cake family packs and an assortment of daily juice products available at your grocery. Our next Giant Eagle sweepstakes will be worth $200. That'll be tomorrow evening. Well, another one of the stalwarts out of our bullpen. Now, when it was 8-0, there was no chance that he was going to pitch today. But now it's 8-5, and you're back in a situation where you've got to put the old finger in the dike here and keep it from getting back to a bigger lead, so you still got the chance to go after him.
As we saw Enrique there in the slow-mo, we find that this is his 59th appearance so far. Has 90.1 innings pitched, so he's not too overly worked. He's 8-3 with a 2.40 ERA, and he has 3 saves.
All right, Joe Coleman came on in the third. After a little initial shock by Rose and Trio, Joe settled down and kept them from running away like up to 10 or 11. And boy, another hit or two, and that's where they'd have been. Got in a little trouble in the fourth with a couple of hits, but they didn't score. And then he had his best inning in the fifth when he got them 3 up and 3 down.
And that was an important inning because it allowed us to use a pinch hitter without bringing in another pitcher. We're able to use Romo fresh. Coleman did a good job for us.
The batter will be third baseman Mike Schmidt. He's been up 3 times, walked twice. So 0 for 1 official. That was a strikeout, and Coleman struck him out in the third inning. He batted twice in that inning. Walked to start it and scored their 3rd run, struck out to end it. And he's leading off in the 6th inning against Enrique Romo. Schmidt, Lazinski, and Boone, 3 right-hand batters. Phillies batting, leading by 3. Bottom of the 6th inning. Strike called. Schmidt in this series is 0 for 3 officially. Pinch hit in each of last night's games, failed each time. The 1 official at bat today struck out. No balls, 1 strike. 1-1, slid it off the outside corner that time, and the count is even at a ball and a strike. Lazinski has a homer for them. He got it with a man aboard in the 3rd, and he's on deck. We've had a homer out of Omar Moreno. And Enrique Romo, our 3rd pitcher, following Rooker and Coleman, winding. Bouncer 3rd. Madlock charges, fires. 1 down. 3rd to 1st takes care of Mike Schmidt here in the 6th inning. That'll bring up Lazinski. Singled in the 1st, hit a 2-run homer in the 3rd, flied out to center in the 4th. Oh, we've still got time, folks. We've got the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And in that next inning, we've got the 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up. All left-hand batters against a right-hand reliever. Just might be that the way this thing is turned around a little bit, McGraw might get up just in case. I had 1 ball and no strikes to the bull. Boone due up next. Took something off of that. Boy, is that it's almost a hesitation pitch, isn't it?
The hesitation sidearm slow hook roundhouse underneath over the top pitch.
What was it? Somebody the other day says that's a Cuban forkball. Whatever it is, it does something. 1 ball and 1 strike. There's a high pop on the right side. Stargell backing up, and he's going to end up having to come over the line to get it. Now, when that ball started up, it really looked like Garner was going to have the better look. That gives you an idea what that wind is doing with balls hit high in the air here today.
Well, Garner was calling Willie off the play, but Willie stayed right with it. He was watching the ball as it comes down. Here we see Garner going back. He's calling for the play. Willie's staying with it. Now he watches the wind take it. He calls Garner off, goes ahead and makes the play. They talked about it afterwards, saying, that's why I stayed with the ball, Phil. I thought the wind was pulling it over.
Boy, that's really heads-up playing right there. 2 away now, and here is Bob Boone. Had a base hit in the 4th. He's 1 for 3. Low outside. After showing him that flutter ball, he came back with a swifty, and Lazinski, the pitch was up and away, and he popped it up. 1 ball and no strikes. One and 1 to Boone. Maddox would be next. The Phillies are batting in the 6th. They saw an 8-0 lead all but disappear when the Bucks came up with a 5 spot in the 5th. It's 8-5 Philadelphia. So with the 1-1 on the way. Oh, he didn't have a good swing at all. You saw him favoring that bad hand there noticeably.
Certainly did, and we can see him wincing a little bit there, trying to walk it off somewhat. It's a beautiful pitch. Took something off. A little bit of slider right out over there. Little bit off. Gets out without the contact. That's what really hurts that hand also. And you can see Boone's reaction. That's some kind of hurt.
He's over there trying to just bear with it. The old grin and bear it, but wasn't much grinning. Montreal batting in the 9th at Shea has the Mets down 5-2. The Dodgers have started at Candlestick, failed in the 1st, and the Giants are now batting. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 away. Fastball away, missing, 2-2. Romo. The last month has been something of a delight to watch. Popped right side. Stargell's play to make. Has to cut. Whoa, Boone almost walked under the bridge right there. Side retired as Romo gets him in apple pie fashion. So we're going to go to the 7th inning here. The Bucco Bats definitely have a chance to do it. And when you're down 8-0 and then suddenly find it 8-5, you know you can come back again. And that's what the Bucks are going to try to do here against Eastwick. We'll go to the 7th. Phillies 8, Pirates 5. The next 3 innings are sponsored in part by Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. And in part by Brut by Fabergé. After shave, after shower, after anything.
Oh.
Manny Sanguillen, who was the pinch hitter and delivered with an infield hit. His day is over, but he's not leaving that bench. He's down there by the hit man, Easy Rider. The Easy Man has always got something going, hasn't he? Easy's one of those guys that won't let anybody up. He's down there cranking everybody. You got to have a guy like that on the bench, don't you?
Nobody's going to sleep with Easy Rider around. He's up and down the bench, sitting on top, talking to guys, asking them about pitchers. It's mostly business.
He got that leg hit last night, and I said, boy, you've been working on your running. He said, ain't I? Said, now that I got a hit with my legs, I'm going to work on it some more. Here's Parker, a walk, a bounce out, and a walk. There's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be gone. Home run for Dave Parker, an opposite opposite field blow, and all of a sudden we're only 2 runs back. That ball just kept going. Ballpark just wouldn't contain it. And look at those Pirate fans. Happiness is following the Bucks. And for Dave Parker, he has come up with his 20th homer of the year and his 75th run batted in.
Davey gets a good pitch to hit. The ball is basically down the middle, about belt high. Parker not trying to pull the ball, just getting a lot of wood on it. Takes him deep over the left center field fence.
All right, here's Stargell. If he kisses one, then somebody's got to start to pucker because the 8-run lead is all but gone. Bouncer, fair ball, they say. Must have just got enough of the bag. Stargell looking as much as to say, are you sure? Well, I'd like to see a replay of that. Now, in all fairness to the ump, we're up at a little angle on the right side, but I'd still like to see it again. And we're going to get it.
Willie's on top of the ball, chops one right down the line.
Look where Rose is.
Had to go right over the bag, right over the corner of the bag, fair.
Must just gotten enough of it. Stargell looking down that line and had a word or two when he got down there. He wanted another swing. That's going to bring up John Milner, 2 for 3. Strike. All right, we're going to look at it again, see where it bounces.
Bounced right in front of the bag, right there, then went over the corner of the bag, which makes it a fair ball.
That's right. Even though Rose was outside the line, although it looked like he was a long way out for it to come over the bag fair, it's where it goes by the bag. It's not where he goes to get it. Here's the 1-1 to Milner. Ball. John Milner had a very big hit in this game when he greeted the left-hand reliever. Because that drove in the 3rd run, and we went on to get 2 more. They brought in the left-hander just to face him, and he upset the apple cart. It was a big hit.
Certainly was, and that was a situation where John Milner got a pitch he could handle, and instead of trying to pull it, maybe hitting the ground ball to second base, he went right with the pitch, hitting the line drive up the middle to drive in the run.
Especially after he had gotten in a hole in the count. He just hung in there. All right, Milner coming back around. Ron Reed is loosening in the Philadelphia bullpen. Ball game is in the 7th inning. It's an 8-6 game. Parker closed the gap by 1 more with a leadoff homer. Foul tip. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Little did Danny Ozark ever want or dream that he would maybe use 4 pitchers today. High pop, shallow right. Anderson will come on, and he'll make the play, and it's 2 down. Milner flies out to Mike Anderson, 2 away in the 7th, brings up Madlock, who's had a single and a double, 2 for 3, driven in a run. He drove in the 4th run. We got 5 in the 5th, 1 here in the 7th. We've gotten home runs out of Omar and the Cobra, and this is Madlock. Smashed through the left side, right through the hole, a base hit. So Mad Dog taking it out here. That's the 3rd hit off Eastwick. It's our 14th hit in the game. We've out-hit him 14-10. I've got 14 hits. What do you have? We talked with Ed Ott and asked him if playing the Phillies gives him an extra lift.
Only because I'm back in the Allentown area near the Lehigh Valley where I'm living now, and the people in that area love the Philadelphia Phillies, and I'm trying to convert them to Pittsburgh Pirate fans. So I want to do good, and I want the team to do good here. So it definitely gives me a bigger lift.
And he just bounced one up the middle. He gave himself a lift. So 2 men on with 2 men out, and the batter will be Phil Garner. And now they're going to get a lefty up in their bullpen along with Reed. The only lefty they've got left down there would be McGraw, wouldn't it? That's the tug. Yeah, they do have the hit total wrong, and they just changed it. I thought they were a hit short. We've got 15 hits, and they finally caught up with us on the board. Maybe the guy running the board doesn't want to believe it. His team was out in front 8-0. Here's Garner. There's a line drive to left. Lazinski back, can't get it. It bounces away from him. Medlock scoring. Ott's coming home. The throw toward the plate will be way off target. Garner's at third, dives back, he's safe. Holy Toledo, what a comeback. It's a brand new game. Lazinski went back. All of a sudden he realized he couldn't get it. The ball hit the wall, bounced back away from him. While it was rolling away, 2 runs scored. Garner's at third. It's an 8-8 game, and the Battling Bucks are living up to their nickname right here, Nellie Bryles.
We just said it was a ball well hit by Garner, and Luzinski still not realizing that the ball is carrying a little more today. Gets caught in between. He's not back to the fence, and he's not far enough away to cut the ball off. Boa tries to make the play on Ed Ott at home, but there was really no play. If Phil Garner slides into third base, you don't think he's not happy with what just happened. Yes, sir.
All right.
Give me 5.
8-8. Oh, brother, what a comeback. Now the Phillies got to be thinking. 2 runs are in, 3 runs in the inning, and Danny Ozark, yeah, he'd stare a hole through a brick wall. You think he wasn't talking the last 3 days? Wait till after this game. He'll be harder to find than a diaper salesman in an old folks' home. They scored at a double and third on the throw. At least that's what I'm going to take for granted, because they've really had no announcement. Easler's going to be the pinch hitter. Now a base hit. You know what it does, don't you? It gives the Pirates the lead after being down 8-0. Changing it around. Holy Toledo. Oh, brother, thank goodness you never lose your sense of humor when it's 8-0. Then you got a reason to have some fun when you tie it, and Danny Ozark is on his way. And he'll hear some rumbling. They might make a 2-for-1 here, as the pitcher's due up 4th in the inning. Greg Gross is going to go in, and the Bull is going to get a good night kiss. Going to take one of their bombers out with an 8-run lead going. I'd have to have that explained to me, I think. Because what if we go in front, and the next time they come around and got 2 people on, and Lazinski's due to bat? So they're going to go to their bullpen. There's no doubt about that. And it'll be the Tugboat, because we have announced Easler, and they want a left-hand pitcher to work to him. Do you realize, folks, that in the 5th inning, they were leading 8-0, and Dickie Knowles was dancing? You couldn't ask for a dance and find a space left on his card. He had to be thinking, hey, here I am facing the Pirates, 8-0. He not only never completed the inning, since then the Bucks have gone on to tie it. It's 8-8. And Eastwick, well, I tell you, a pretty good relief pitcher. After the home run, then he got 2 outs. Looked like he'd recovered, but then Madlock got a hit, Ott got a hit, and Garner got a hit. So McGraw coming on, and Eastwick will head for the clubhouse. These are the times that try men's souls, brother.
Right now, Danny Ozark having to parade his bullpen in front of us. We've been playing catch-up ball all afternoon, but that's what the Battling Bucks are all about.
Tug McGraw has these figures.
This is going to be his 49th appearance. Started 1 game this year when their pitching staff was in bad shape. He's 3-2 with a 4.5 ERA, has 13 saves, which leads their staff.
Did anybody in the booth here with all the racket ever hear whether they ever announced whether Garner's ball was a double and a throw? We now have it backed up. Lanny Fratteri, who had a speaker that was working, said yes, they did. So it was a double and 2 ribbies. And here is Tug McGraw, veteran of many campaigns. Not much of a secret what he does. Anybody that's been around got to be in pretty well knowledgeable about what he's going to work on them with. And we've got Ticovey throwing in our bullpen because Easler has been announced as a pinch hitter, and he's standing down here to the left side. When it was 8-0, nobody ever dreamed a couple of things. That the Phillies would end up going to their bullpen 3 times, number one, and number two, that we would ever come back enough to see Romo and Ticovey. But the Pirates wouldn't roll over and play dead. You get down 8-0 against a club like the Phillies, some clubs would have just said, well, tomorrow's another day. And here is Mike Easler facing McGraw with a runner at third. A base hit turns it completely around. Ball low outside. Mike Easler trying to get Garner home to give us the lead. It's an 8-8 tie. Ball. Mike Easler hitting .286, 2 homers, 8 runs batted in. Easler had a base hit in the 10th inning last night. 1 for 1 in the series, 1 for 3 against the Phillies this year. 2 balls and no strikes. Wind swirling around home plate, and Easler steps out of there a moment. Kent Ticovey's already headed toward our dugout. Oh, he can't wait to get in there. Oh, if we could just get Scraps home and get Ticovey in there with a lead to protect. Wouldn't that be something, a turnaround? If you went away and have just come back, there's a foul. If you left when it got 8-0 and then just decided to come back and see how things were going, we didn't make up the score, folks. It really is 8-8. Garner at third. Line drive single, Pirates lead. The hitman, the easy rider. Call him cheerleader, call him anything. But right now, call him hero. And Garner, look at that. Look at that reception. If that isn't a spot to play We Are Family, I don't know what is.
Well, I tell you, Phil is so proud of the fact that he's starting to drive in runs again for us. And talk about Garner driving runs, we're going to get a shot at Mike Easler delivering an RBI single. Ball up and over the plate, takes it right up the middle. Good pitch to hit, did not let it go. We lead 9-8.
All right, now we go to the top of the order with Omar Moreno as the 8th Pirate to bat in the inning. What a day to put on a display with a national audience looking in. They got to say, hey, those Pirates are for real. Strike one on the swing. At the end of 3 innings, the Phillies were leading 8-0. With the Pirates batting in the 7th and still batting, it's the Pirates 9, the Phillies 8. Boy, I'm sure glad it didn't rain. Remember that rain dance we wanted to do? Fouled off. 3 of these 4 runs have scored after 2 away. And both of the innings were started by homers. Moreno did it in the 5th. Parker did it here in the 7th. And in the 5th inning, all the runs were scored after 2 outs. There's an echo in here. Boone evidently thought Easler was thinking about running. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Easler takes the lead. McGraw looked right at him. High fly ball right field. Anderson, when it comes down, will put it away. And the side is retired, but the Bucks have another inning. 8 men back. 4 men score on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Homer by Parker, a big blast by Garner to get in 2. Easler delivered off the bench. There weren't any errors. We didn't need any help. And 1 man was left, and this game has turned completely around. And there's that happiness combination again of Lynette and Garner after his big hit. And the family is going to take the field here. At the old ball yard, it's entirely different than it was a half an hour ago. Ticovey will be coming on to pitch. The Phillies in the 8th will send up Maddox Maddox, Anderson, and Boa with this score. Pirates 9, Phillies 8. Saturday evening, August 18th. Hey, folks, that's a week from tonight. You think we've had fireworks here? Wait till the fireworks at the old ball yard next Saturday. Fireworks night. Following the Pirates game with the Dodgers, all you fans attending that night at Three Rivers will be treated to a spectacular fireworks display. So come on out to beautiful Three Rivers. See the Bucks continue their drive towards the pennant versus the Dodgers. And as an extra bonus, see a great fireworks display following the game. That's August 18th, a week from tonight. Game time is 7:35. Kent DeColby is on. Well, his reputation precedes him. He just keeps on stacking up figures, and he's going to be looking at Maddox. We'll check his stats in a moment. Maddox has had a hit, reached on an error, and struck out. He's 1 for 3, scored twice. Strike at the knees, and here's what DeColby has amassed so far.
This will be his 66th appearance. He's 6-6 with a 2.86 ERA. Finished 48 games, has 21 saves, which leads the staff.
Picked up that 21st last night in the dramatic victory in the second game. That ball skipped away. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. The Montreal Expos beat the Mets 5-2. So winning now, if you're going to stay a game and a half in front, becomes a must. And the Bucks are leading 9-8. We've out-hit them 17-10. Fouled off out of play right side, 1-2. Third inning, Dodgers and Giants are scoreless. Bake McBride, since we've run on the right-hand reliever, is on deck. He will bat for Mike Anderson as Danny Ozark will go to his bench. Almost took off a kneecap, and there is McBride. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gary Maddox. 2 balls, 2 strikes, leading off the 7th against DeColby. That's a ball that skips up over and will roll down the line, and Maddox will be the second. Milner up with it, throws it in to Foley. That ball jumped over Maddox. He got over to it. But once it took the great big hop, couldn't get the glove up again, and here you'll see it.
DeColby trying to go down and away. Maddox gets the bat out in front, hits the ball off of Madlock's glove, goes right on down the line. Milner trying to cut the ball off, which he does, but with the speed of Maddox, we didn't have a shot to get him at second base.
All right, the tying runs in scoring position, and Bake McBride will be announced.
Here we are, Milo, involved in just another 1-run ball game.
Just another day at the ballpark, isn't it? McBride last night was 3 for 11 in the doubleheader, drove in 1 run. He's a .333 hitter against us for the year. He's had 3 homers and driven in 7 runs against us. So he's been a tough out for Pirate pitchers in '79. He's batting .269 for the year. Ball outside. He's got a lopsided total against us compared to what he's done with the league. 1/3 of his homers are against us. So Kent DeColby working in the 7th inning. Maddox at second with nobody out. Foul back. A ball and a strike. Larry Bowa is on deck. The Bucks have certainly put a dent in this game today. You talk about coming back. It was 8-0. Phillies. It's 9-8 at the moment. Pirates. The lead is shaky with a runner at second and nobody out. And the sinker goes low outside to make a 2-1 to McBride. In a game that looked like it was going to be a Philly rocking chair, has narrowed right down into the last 3 innings here to where it might be a photo finish. Check of Maddox at second. Here's the pitch to McBride. Lined out into right center. Parker is there. The runner at second going to try to come to third. And Foley, I'm sure, thought the runner was coming back because he took a dive at him. McBride, well, he came out of it smelling like a rose. Maddox is over to third base. I don't think anybody thought he was going to run right there.
No, and we just saw Phil Garner go back to second base for the appeals play. They might have to go all the way to the pitcher and have Tekulve step off the mound and go back to the bag.
All right, now here's Parker firing. I think he meant for this throw to go on through the way he let her fly. And Foley right there, I think, thought that the runner had decided to come back. Look at him taking a dive. And the runner is headed the other direction. Boa is the batter with a tying run at third and one out. Infield up all the way on the right side. Shortstop up halfway on the left. Madlock up in front of the bag at third. Tekulve looks to third. Outside to Boa, ball one. Boa drove in a run in the second with a sacrifice fly. Third inning, he had a base hit and drove in a run. And there you see the infield as they moved it around to show you how they're snuggled up in there. Don Robinson's headed toward the bullpen. He wasn't able to start today, but may have to call on somebody before it's over. We're in the seventh inning. Strike on the outside corner above the knees. 1-1 to Boa. Boa, I think, thought that pitch was a little outside. He's not really putting up a major beef, but I think he is having a word or two about it. Maddox at third. One out. Boa the batter. Gross is due up next. Remember when they did the flip-flop, Gross was inserted in the 9-hole. Stretch pitch by Tekulve. Sinker low, 2-1. Pirates leading with 9 runs and 17 hits. Phillies 8 runs, 11 hits. 2 errors, both belong to the Pirates. And they did figure in the Phillies scoring. Two-1 to Boa. Outside. 3-1. So Kent Tekulve. Going to have time called by Captain Willie Stargell, who's going to come over to say a word to him. A little pat on the back from the big leader on this club.
Just reminding him that it's not the pitcher on deck because it's the 9th place hitter. It's Greg Gross, so he has 2 left-handed hitters in a row. Pete Rose backing them up as a switch hitter, so he said you might as well try and go get this guy right here.
3 balls, 1 strike. Look to third. And the pitch to Boa. Fouled off into their dugout. Makes it a full count. Seesaw affair at Fenway. Boston leads Milwaukee 6-5 in the 8th. Minnesota's taken the lead over Oakland 7-6. Toronto and Chicago, their second game starting at White Sox Park. There is the tying run represented by Maddox at third. All right, a payoff pitch is due. Here it comes. Lost him on a sinker that went way low outside. First walk by Tekulve. It's the 4th walk of a Philly in the game, and Gross will be the left-hand batter appearing for the first time today. So with runners on the corners, sweet swing Gross will be up there. He's got one of those level swings. Two on with 1 out. This is the spot where Teague would like to have that sinker ball work to perfection and get that twin killing. You got a speed merchant at first. Strike called outside corner at the letters. They've got a couple of guys on the bases right now who can really motor. Maddox at third and Boa at first base.
Greg Gross gets down the line pretty well too, so that we're going to get the double play. The ball is going to have to be pretty hard hit.
Chases Boa back but doesn't get him. Pete Rose is on deck. Boy, oh boy, what a turnaround in this game. Phillies saw an 8-0 lead go by the board. Right now they're looking up at us. Pirates are leading 9-8. They are threatening, however. Boa running. Throw down is not going to be in time. Stolen base for Boa. Maddox didn't come up the line that far. Going to take another look here.
Ott catches the ball. It's slowing away. He shifts pretty well, but Boa just had a great jump. Excellent base runner, good stealer. We didn't have much of a chance. Foley hoping that Maddox would come down the line, but he didn't.
For Boa, it's 14th stolen base of the year. Boa coming over to check with the coach and the runner at third. Now with a 1-ball, 1-strike count and 2 runners in scoring position, the infield's going to come up all the way around except for Foley, who will come up 3/4. As you see them on that right side especially, they're right up in there. And the 1-1 to Gross. A bouncer to second. Going to come home. It'll be out. And Maddox tried to bowl over Ott, but that's a mismatch. Maddox is in the wrong league weight-wise to try to battle Ed Ott in that situation.
There was just no doubt about the outcome if Ed Ott can hold on to the ball. We see it's a hard hit ball, hit right at Phil Garner. But because we have the infield in, Garner goes home with the ball, makes a good throw. The throw beats Maddox. Maddox tries to go into Ed Ott, even though he bowls him over, but there's no way that he can get anywhere close to home plate. Otter comes up on top.
And the old wrestler was working right there. Did you see him throw Maddox right off of him like he was a featherweight? And Chuck Tanner has come out here now because Rose is the batter. And it might be that Ott was shaken up because trainer Tony Barterome has arrived on the scene. Maybe he just came out. Maybe it's nothing more than needing a towel because he really was ground into that dirt. But when he came up out of there looking for a place to throw, he just flipped Maddox off of him like he was a feather. He is so strong. In that Montreal victory, Dan Schatzeder beat Falcone. Valentine hit 2 home runs. Valentine's been on a home run jag lately.
He certainly has, and that's the lift that Montreal has needed. They've missed that big home run bat so far this season. So many of the other players picking up the slack, namely Parrish. And now that he's hot, he's carrying that ball club.
Well, Ed Ott, he talked about it earlier during our game, talking about how he does get up when he's here. Boy, he got up right there, didn't he? All right, Pete Rose with runners on the corners, 2 away. So Jacoby got the ground ball off Gross's bat and enabled us to have a play at the plate. And a strike is called on Rose, who's had a triple and a double and 2 RBIs. He's 2 for 4, and a look at the runners. Boa's at third. Gross at first. Stargell tries to keep him close. Pirates are leading 9-8. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning at the vet in Philadelphia. Right at Mad Dog. Throw him out, Doggy, and the side's retired. So has happened last night, and Rose talked about it. When they had runners in scoring position with 1 out and didn't score, remember, in that second game we went on to win it. Another case in point right there. That might have been a pivotal inning in this ball game because we maintained the lead when they were threatening to get it back. No runs and 1 hit. No errors, a walk, and they leave a pair. We're going to go to the 8th inning, and here are the Bucks. Instead of looking up, they're looking for insurance. Tug McGraw will be the pitcher. We go to the 8th inning. Pirates 9, Phillies 8.
Elvis from The Woman Who Knew Him Best. And Friday, see some daredevils water ski in their bare feet. Join us weeknights at 7:30 on TV2.
As we go to the 8th, Tug McGraw will be working in his second inning. Easler got a hit off of him to drive in the go-ahead run when Tug came on in the 7th. Then he got Moreno to fly out to end the inning, but we had gone in front with the 4 runs. And now Tim Foley's going to lead it off in the 8th inning. Foley is 2 for 3. Foley batting in the 8th. Fouls it off from McGraw. And Foley, with the day going, had a sacrifice in the 1st, a double in the 3rd, a single in the 5th, and thrown out by the pitcher in the 6th inning. Fly ball left field. He hit a Scroogey, and Gross will be right there, and it is 1 away. Boy, I know you've heard about the fantastic deal for you fans coming up for that home stretch. We've got home stretch season tickets coming. If you'd like to know more about it, why don't you call 323-5080. It's a plan that's ideal for you to take advantage of the big home stretch at Three Rivers in the month of September. Did you get the number? Nellie has it. After me, Nellie. 323-5080. Very good. Just look at my lips.
Orchestrated beautifully.
Well, that's a heck of a deal, you know it, for the fans. There's a bouncer off Parker's bat right at Trio. Took the big hop, but he stayed with it, threw him out. Two up and 2 down.
Bonus part of that package, Milo, is that for everyone who gets that home stretch season tickets, they're eligible for World Series and playoff tickets.
That is the point well taken. McGraw working on Stargell. The attendance is going to be over 50,000 here today. We thought it'd be over 45, but looking in the upper deck with a lot of the seats, it was hard to really pin it down. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ron Cey is homered for the Dodgers. 51,118. They have zoomed over 2 million on this homestand. They're 2,172,000. There's a liner to right and a base hit. He just hung out a rope to McBride. McBride, who was the pinch hitter in the 7th and stayed in the game to play right, so Captain Willie is on with his second hit of the game. He had an RBI single in the 5th that drove in our second run. He later scored our 4th. Tug McGraw, that's a second hit off of him. We have 18 hits in this game. Here's John Milner against the Tug. Ball 1. Milner's had 2 hits today. See, Omar a pair, Foley 2, Parker 1. It was a homer. Stargell 2, Milner 2, Madlock 3, Ott 3. Geiner 1, a big one, a 2-run double that drove in 2 and later scored the go-ahead run. Sanguillen had a pinch hit single. Easler had a pinch hit single and drove in a run. The 2-0. Strike on the outside corner at the knees. Ball game is in the 8th inning. Who would have thunk it? We were down 8-0 after 3. Right now it's 9-8 Pirates. Strike again. He's worked the corner, first out and then in. Over 51,000 paid, 63,000 last night. There'll be a good crowd tomorrow night and another good one Monday. Sends the fly ball down the left field line. Gross over. Won't get it. It's going to bounce. And luckily for them, the bounce for the ground rule double saves a run from scoring. If that ball rattles down the line, the captain comes home.
Well, they certainly got a break, and we didn't with that ball bouncing on that high turf up into the stands. Ground rule double. We've got runners on second and third with 2 men out.
That'll be up to Bill Madlock. Let's see. What did we say? 50 and that's roughly 115 in the 2 days here, right? We drew 105 in 3 days at Wrigley. We've drawn almost. We're shooting. We'll go to 250,000 the first 6 days out in this homestand. Would you say the Buccos are a road attraction?
They always have. They always drew over 1.5 million on the road every year that they've been playing in recent years.
They're putting Madlock on here, as you can see. So then Ed Ott will be looking at a left-hander. This is the first pass given up by McGraw. Third walk of a Pirate in the game, the first to be intentional. And now Ed Ott will have a chance to upset the apple cart. McGraw got the first two hitters in the inning. Foley flied to left. Parker bounced to second. Stargell singled. Milner ground rule double. Madlock walked intentionally. And Ed Ott will be coming out. The Otter, with 3 hits and 4 at-bats, drove in our 5th run, scored our 8th. Boy, if he delivers again and gives to Colby some more breathing room, that's what we're looking for right here. The Pirates trying to add to a 9-8 lead. I think we're going to get a runner for Madlock. It'll be Rennie Stennett, and then he'll just stay on, and we'll make those infield changes when we go to the bottom of the inning. So Rennie Stennett is the pinch runner. When we go to the 8th, the bottom of it, he'll play second. Scraps will move over to third. Bases are loaded, 2 away. Ed Ott, the batter, against Tug McGraw. Pirates leading 9-8. We've out-hit them 19-11. Wind is really blowing the dirt around now. That's going to cause time to be called, and Boone's going to go and talk to Tug McGraw. Well, if there's one of the charms about baseball that you have to like, it's the fact that both teams get 27 outs. If you have a game that has a clock and they have a comparative lead of 8-0 early like the Phillies had against us, the other club just kind of usually rolls over and dies, figuring, hey, time is against us if nothing else. But in this game, you get your outs no matter what, and a strike is called.
The rap on Tug McGraw in past years has been that he hasn't been able to get the left-handers out with frequency. He doesn't throw his best pitch, which is a screwball, to left-handed hitters, and they've hurt him.
A drive to right, but it won't carry enough to be a grand slam until it hits the back of the drop.
Oh my!
Talk about a ball that was hit. Ott just kind of took a little look. McBride just kind of turned his head around, put his back to the infield, and Tug McGraw, for the second time in a week, has served a grand slam to a left-hand hitter. And when you said that the rap on him not being able to get a left-hand hitter out consistently, well, we have put the proof of the pudding on that twice in 1 week. And all of a sudden, it's 13-8, and look at this. Where does he get it?
This ball is right up and over the plate, right where Ed Ott really likes it. I'm telling you, he gets it all. The ball is long gone, hit that clear off the scoreboard here, Milo.
I guess maybe I deceived him a little when I said it wasn't going to be deep enough, because I was getting ready to say until it hit clear up in the middle of the hitting background, which it did. Ed Ott, when he trotted around the bases, didn't even need his spikes. I think he floated around, didn't he? And it's 13-8 Pirates, and here is Garner. A grand slam by Ed Ott. It's his 4th hit of the game. And Garner sends a fly ball to right. McBride will have room this time, edge of the track, and the side has been retired. If this isn't the most unusual game we've had this year, look at Ed Ott. Don't have to worry about a conflict. That's a Pepsodent smile, brother.
One for the family.
Oh, brother. Well, 4 more runs. We're in the middle of the 8th, and it's the Pirates 13, count 'em, Phillies 8.
Side course, murder. Can Kate Colombo learn the truth? Mrs. Colombo, Thursday.
Bill Robinson has gone in to play left field for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Garner's gone over to third base from his second base spot, and Rennie Stennett is now the second baseman. Ed Ott, his first Grand Slam home run, has driven in 5 runs today.
So you were talking about Tanner's Extraman and using his old ball club. Well, with Robinson out there now, he's got just his catcher, Nicosia. Lee Lacy is also on the ball club, but I think he went back to Pittsburgh. They think he might have mononucleosis or some kind of virus. He had a high fever yesterday to scratch from the lineup. So I guess, except for Nicosia, the extra catcher, everybody's been in the ball game except the pitchers.
Foley, long throw. In time, Trio is out. The Pirates 13 runs, 20 hits, and 2 errors. Phillies 8-11-0.
It's not just a devastating loss if the Phillies lose it up by 8 runs, but that bullpen's got to be a little frightened. Eastwick coming in, Saucier coming in, McGraw coming in. Ooh.
Mike Schmidt. Schmidt walked his first 2 times up, struck out and bounced out. Outside, ball 1. Boy, that out has had some day. Following our game, the Junior Olympics. Those of you that tuned in, it's been some ball game, but we'll be going to Lincoln. So you stay with us. It is a foul ball. They finally called it. Pinch hitter coming out of the Phillies dugout.
There's that crowd that's really
A lot of empty seats. Few folks left after Ed Ott hit that grand slam home run, I'll tell you. Jacoby trying to nail it down again. Something he's done all year for these Pirates. Fouled out of play. Phillies had an 8-0 lead at the end of 3. Pirates scored 5 in the 5th, scored 4 in the 7th, take a 9-8 lead, and then Maddox came up with a double in the bottom of the 7th, moved over to 3rd on a great base running play, but they were not able to drive him in. And now the grand slam by Ed Ott, the Pirates have taken a commanding 5-run lead, 13-8. Schmidt lays off, and it's outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ott has 5 RBIs. The 2 extra I gave him belong to Garner, who's had a good day. Garner hit that double in the 7th inning. Right off to Covey. Garner has it in time. Schmidt cannot run. And now they're all running over to see Ticovey because he's been the franchise.
Hit him on the hand, hit him on the elbow, looks like, and where to hit him?
No indication. He says, I'm all right.
Well, the strongest men in baseball, Mike Schmidt, just lined one very hard right back at Ticovey. He had nothing to do except try for self-defense. He got that gloved hand and the bare hand out in front of it. He's not even going to take any warm-up pitches. Schmidt may have re-injured that leg also. He tried to get out of the box. As soon as he saw the ball bouncing free to the 3rd base side, he started to run a little harder, and then he came up gimping.
So there are 2 outs, and McCarver is the pinch hitter for McGraw. Nobody on, 2 men out. It's a strike. Out of play.
So this is even more shocking, I think, to the Phillies, because they usually play so well at home in front of their hometown fans with 51,000 here. And to have that 8-run lead go down the drain.
Two-strike pitch. Outside, 1-2. Junior Olympics following the completion of this game. Boy, you just wonder what that feeling is going to be in that Philly clubhouse.
At home, the Phillies going into today's ball game were 35 wins, 21 losses. On the road, almost a reversal. 25 wins, 35 losses. Over the last 3 Eastern Division titles that they've had, they've played very well at home.
High chopper, Foley charging hard. In time. So the Phillies go down in order. 1, 2, 3. We complete 8 innings here. And the score, Pittsburgh 13, Philadelphia 8 to Colby, Moreno, and Foley.
Sold out again. Say, you look like a double-edged man to me. Daring, unafraid.
No, the Gillette Track 2 gives me a more comfortable shave.
Maybe it's an injector you crave. Shaves close.
Yeah, but Track 2 shaves closer.
Yeah, but
sorry.
To guys who use a twin-blade Gillette Track 2, no single blade will do.
Gillette Track 2, please.
Feel that it's been much better for them. And that was before Starrett, so he's taking kind of a bum rap in that case.
Well, Randy Lurch is going to leave the game in the 4th inning after working 3 1/3 innings and going to give way to Ron Reed. And this reminds us an awful lot of a doubleheader situation that the Philadelphia Phillies got in the Thursday before they came into Pittsburgh. They had a doubleheader against the Mets. Randy Lurch